Shadows of a laugh now buried deep begin to weep. Built a castle on illusions, watching it decay. Delusions of grandeur crumbling day by day. Raging in the mirror, fists against the glass. Can't face the shattered pieces of a tarnished past. Betrayal in the air, well it thickens like a brew. Every friendly smile turning coldly into two. Specters of detractors celebrating in the night, falling from the pedestal in an endless flight. Everyone's abandoning the sinking ship so fast, losing grip on reality, can't outrun the past. Anger is a wildfire burning through his veins, staring at the sky, screaming out in vain. Crowd of traitors gathering and they want the throne, while he's left clutching to fantasies alone. Dreams of grandeur broken, scattered on the floor. Reality's a prison with no exit door. Angry eyes searching for someone to blame, but it's just reflections twisting in the shame. Specters of detractors celebrating in the night, falling from the pedestal in endless flight. Everyone's abandoning the sinking ship so fast, losing grip on reality, can't outrun the past.
In the heart of the cold dark north, where secrets twist and shadows morph, the stalker's eyes, they're fixated still. On the screens he conquers at his will. He's Derek, not Derek, you better know. Demanding respect in whispers low. With each click, his world does spin. In a web of lust he's drowning in. Buffalo Bill with a twisted thrill. Online whispers, they're haunting still. With each click, his world does spin. In a web of lust he's drowning in. Buffalo Bill with a twisted thrill. Online whispers, they're haunting still. Cyber jungle, he prowls at night. Cameras live under neon light. He's a phantom in the digital air, plucking nerves and pulling hair. Dangerous offender caught in a spree. His heart's a cage, but he holds the key. Derek IP with a darkened soul. Emptiness swallows him whole. Threads of desire tightly wound. In an abyss, he's deeply bound. He stalks like shadows, never sleep. In the silence, secrets keep. Through the screens, he's walking tall. Mind a prison with no wall.
nerves and pulling hair. Dangerous offender, caught in a spree. His heart's a cage, but he holds the key. Derek IP with a darkened soul. Emptiness swallows him whole. Threads of desire tie me wound, and an abyss sees deeply bound. He stalks like shadows never sleep. In the silence secrets keep. Through the screens he's walking tall. Mind a prison with no wall.
Darkness forces rise, shadows whisper broken ties. Dashed by a roses, words like knives. Dark side Phil won't survive. In the back room, cries echo loud. He's a king without a crown. Phil's fortress is burning down. Tractor wins without a sound. Dashed by flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the back room, cries echo loud. He's a king without a crown. Phil's fortress is burning down. The tractor wins without a sound. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the night, the battle's fought. Dark side Phil's plans will rot. Words cut deeper than a shot. Dash fire's too hot. Feedback loop of endless rage. Phil's stuck inside his cage. Dash fire writes another page. The tractor rocks the stage. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the back room, cries echo loud. He's a king without a crown. Phil's fortress is burning down. The tractor wins without a sound. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the night, the battle's fought. Dark side Phil's plans will rot. Words cut deeper than a shot. Dash fire's too hot. Feedback loop of endless rage. Phil's stuck, Phil's plans will rot. Words cut deeper than a shot. Dash fire's too hot. Feedback loop of endless rage. Phil's stuck inside his cage. Dash fire writes another page. The tractor rocks the stage. Dash fire's endless rage. Phil's stuck inside his cage. Dash fire writes another page. The tractor rocks the stage. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. The game. And the game. The game. Keeps playing the game. Keeps playing the game. The playing the game. Keeps playing the game. Keeps playing the game. Control the haters, the algorithms are rigged. But truth is hard to bit a bill, a consequence unfake. He built his throne on lies, on curated, kept the scams out. Dash fire's burning bright, exposing all the shams. Crash out, king, your reign is done. The empire's crumbling down. Dash fire's lit the match. The fire's spreading through the town. No more pity bodies, no more crocodile tears. The reckoning is here, filled by all these wasted years. Crash out, king, your pockets bleed. Your image in the dirt. You built your castle on sand, and now it's getting hurt. So scream and rage and bend. It won't change what's been shown. Your lies are unraveling, your true colors have grown.
It's disappointing. to me, and it's sad, but at the same time, you know, it just, once again, all the detractors, they said this was going to happen, and they were right.
Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Do you hear yourself right now?
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him.
Dog, fuck all that noise. Get you a bottle of gin from Total Wine. Fire up your TV. Drink your gin. Drink your gin. Consequences have actions, Pep. Here's what you gotta do. Drink your gin. Drink a Pepsi later on. Play your fucking WB champions. Consequences have actions, Pep.
Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Do you hear yourself right now?
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him. Stop being a fucking victim. You fucking bitch. You fucking asshole. Own your shit. Own your shit. Own it. Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Bitch. Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Bitch. Holy shit, Phil. Do you hear yourself, bitch?
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him.
You're still on mission 1. No, I'm not gonna let you lie. I know you're lying. I'm gonna pick on you. I know you're lying. Being dishonest and begging for money. Begging. And people wanting justice. He is not a real person. He's not genuine. He is not honest. He's a scammer. I just see a scammer.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil.
I just see a scammer.
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him. Alright, I'm done. I'm done.
I understand everything now. I know why there's this hate wave on him, and it's been on him for years. It's because of this bullshit.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? We are back. And not only are we back, we have a new series going on. We are going to look at certain points in DSP's timeline, and we're going to see, did it age well? Did it not age well? Did it absolutely backfire on him? Oh man, this could be a very, very interesting series. We have OG. An answer is still an answer. If you don't think so, that just speaks to your character, dude. Then we have Aloof Liberty, who has the frog shocked face next to DSP Alien. That is right. But before we do that, apparently DSP did not have a very good day today. And we are now going to look at the bans because I believe he got like $79, refused to open up the free pack for his audience, and said he's going to roll it over, even though it's supposed to be a free pack for Pokemon when he plays it, but he's going to open it up possibly on the night stream when it's not Pokemon. And he says, hopefully, we get enough to do a second pack. Which means, guys, you can pay him money to open up a pack, and he's still not going to open up the pack. When we start off with bans today, we have, hey, look at my toys. I couldn't brag to friends as a kid, so now I relive my fucked childhood by trying to show off my toys like a middle schooler. We have, by nonsense, he means the 1,000 bots on YouTube. Please do not mention them. You're going to pick what you can shill the most. No matter what the poll says, you'll pick Pokemon. LOL, stop the cap. Hey, Dents, for $150, you can get your own box of TCG cards. You don't have to pay this gamer to open a card and keep it for himself. I wonder why you got banned. DSP Gaming, isn't that kind of weird mentality to have? Everyone else but me is brainless morons. You were more a rate gamer than AVGN. You know, because you weren't ever funny. Shout out to Raw I'm watching his Twitch right now. He always says, I wanted to be AVGN, and I wonder, what part? The write-in or the scripts? Shooting and special effects? Well, editing. Which of those inspired you? Because your videos look like shit, and you never tried. Just the bare minimum. LTG, Wings, Casino, Lex, RTU, Keemstar, Red? How is this not drama? Answer me, David. What's going on, H-Bomb? How you doing, my friend? You look like a sick cancer patient. It's wild and delusional how you are. You're tiny. Hey, bud, since you got baited into that rant, why not do the Kino one? I mean, you got baited into that one last night. Pretty easy. But I think you'd like to hear it again at DSP Gaming. He was wrongfully banned. Then we got Patrick Star emotes, thumbs down. We got a blessed emote, more Patrick Star. Oh, we got Patrick Star, which says, fuck you, retard. Hey, hey, Oos. Tom, 30, you Rexy tip animation plea for 30 kick you ton. I play Rivals now. I know Joy Pal World. I can't even read most of this. Caps broke, sorry. There's an imposter in chat, DSP Gaming. At Dark Manly Goth is a troll. Rattler, come back. Any kind of fool could see there was something in everything about you, Rattler. Come back. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong, and I just can't live without you. I believe that's from Player. Cat is ugly and fat. I wonder why you got banned. And they say a Rattler could save us. I'm not going to stand here and wait. Oh, he's doing the Spider-Man song from Nickelback. A way to hold on to the wings of our Darziak. Watch as we all fly away. Don't support this retard. You can call me Ryan, Phil. All my friends do. Well, I don't have any, but they would. He begs because it works on mentally vulnerable people, lol. Handa Lee was 17. Vietnamese Conrad is Derek. The P-Do cat is obsessed with BBC, like Phil's obsessed with Pokemon paychecks. Dark Lady Goth is a man. Phil let T. Carter rip so he can get his Street Fighter toys. What's going on, Darkside Bird Real? How you doing, my friend? And that's the same thing. That's the same thing. That's the same. Oh my god, he's just going like crazy. Give her a pill. Nice name. Let's get some Mento going, guys, so she can buy the Brag Hog something nice. Brap Hog. Hey, cut. Oh. Hey, Cack Rattler. When are you gonna go back to Street Fighter 6, Uzi? Crazy that you quit Street Fighter 6 in fear of Tifa. Keep playing that Unk Slop for Friday Night Fights. You at least get $50 unless Jax misses his bus. And then another one. Remember when Phil lied about losing his house so he can get more money to pull Hogan's on WWE Champions? That ruled. It's because you're a fucking terrible streamer. Does your vocabulary allow you to go behind stupid idiots? Keep biting your nails, Gelt boy. Phil, my 14-year-old cousin working at McDonald's for minimum wage made more money than you today. That is true, actually. That is true. And damn, look at all these bans right here. Ban. Gone forever. But then, before we get to the interview of Stuttering Craig, I want you to keep in mind, anyone that is new to the DSP verse, this was 2024, and DSP was absolutely out of his mind. It was smug side Phil. And it got to a point where he was started working with Kino Casino, and he was making money. They're obviously gaslighting him and buddy trolling him. But he never got that. He thought, I'm back. People love me again, dude. I made the biggest comeback in YouTube history. And he went after his detractors. He went after the people he thought wronged him. Because DSP is a bully. Inside and out, he always wants to bully people to make himself look better and feel better. And listen to this. He's sky high on his own farts here because he thinks he's back. He's going to make the money he made back in the day. But Phil never changes.
Showing up number one in search now. I haven't shown number one up in search under DSP or
Wow, this already sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Remember, this is 2024.
DSP Gaming in 10 years. My detractors have been using tags of my name and shit to get ahead of me for 10 years. Now,
By the way, he's still saying this in 2026.
my content is actually showing up in search above everyone else's when you search for DSP.
And I just got to point out, oh, nice freeze frame, by the way. He looks unhealthy here, but he looks healthier than 2026 DSP.
Or DSP Gaming. I'm back. Really. Like, this is the beginning of a comeback. One of the biggest comebacks, I think, in YouTube history.
Oh, that did not age very well, Phil. The biggest comeback in YouTube history.
I used to be one of the most prominent gaming YouTubers, and now you can actually find my content again. I know it's going to take work because it's going to be not only me plugging away at my own stuff, but doing collabs, doing this big react to my documentary, which everyone's going to want to see my react to it, right? So I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, but I'm up to it. These next few months, I'm going to work my ass off for you guys.
Yeah, work your ass off by playing games and being an asshole and doing drama. And also, at this point, too, he was isolated his core audience and saying, well, this is the way the content's going to go now, aka drama. If you don't like it, get out. And this is what the first wave of his exodus of core members, and it forced them out too.
And as long as you just keep doing what you're doing, liking the videos, leaving comments, supporting the streams, spreading the word, the sky's the limit. I could be back in a big way. Let's see what happens this coming week. Okay, guys? So thank you all. Enjoy your...
You hear that? He could be back in a major way. But he was really, really, really feeling himself. And he thought, now that I have the back of the casino, I have their viewers, now that they're giving me more money, that means, because I'm getting money, everyone loves me. And Phil couldn't be further from the truth. So he had a great idea. He wanted a rematch where it all started. He wanted to interview Stutter and Craig. And he wanted to boost about his popularity now. And at one point, it was almost Adam and Craig. But Adam had a new kid, by the way. And we got this. So shout out to Snort Hogan. And we get this rematch. This legendary rematch.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Hogan.
Drip, snort, snort. I got the drip. Go.
Good?
All right.
Cool. All right, so I think we're good. We're full screen.
Oh, yeah. And of course, every single interview that DSP did, there was always technical issues. So he was like 45 minutes late to actually starting the interview.
Just like it feels like yesterday, Phil.
Which yes?
And also, look, he's got Stutter and Craig in his Davoom picture frame there, too.
Yesterday, when we were hanging out like 15, 16 years ago at MagFest, or yesterday when I was on your podcast. I mean, we actually have a history that a lot of people don't know the whole history. You know what I mean?
so I mean, I guess, but at the same, like, I got to be honest, 15, 16 years, I don't remember.
I know.
And that was a funny thing because Phil kept saying, oh, I attended this conference and this convention. And Stutter and Craig's like, I don't remember you at all. And DSP does what DSP does is he builds up these relationships in his head saying, oh, we were good friends and we hung out and this and that. And Craig's just like, you were just a fan at that point. I don't know who you are.
That, right? So if you say we were hanging out, then we hung out. So I mean, we probably played a few games together, I would imagine, over the years, yeah.
Right.
He just started with Discord and OBS like 10 years ago. Yeah, I forget. Remember how long it takes DSP to learn something, especially 10 plus years.
Yeah, and I actually, if you remember, I was a guest at Screw Attack Gaming Convention in 2012, 2013. I was actually a featured guest, and I even was one of the finalists at the Iron Man of Gaming competition you had.
The Iron Man of Gaming, yes. That was so far ahead of its time. Well, also
Now remember, Stutter and Craig is saying, I remember the convention, I don't remember you.
still being 20 years too late.
People are saying your volume's still a little low. Is there any way you could boost it any more?
Yeah, sure. Let me see what I can do on my end. Let's see. So I don't use Discord very often, so let me kind of go into my settings here and check things out. Output volume. Let's see. How about this? Is that better?
What a great interview so far, King. Amazing stuff. Amazing questions so far, King.
Better? Am I volume? Did I boost me at all?
Sounds about
No.
the same, I think.
Okay, let me change this up. Here you go. Is this a little?
Uh-oh. Now you're muted.
I don't even. I'm still muted.
Now you're unmuted.
Okay.
I'm so glad he prepares for things like this.
Well, I think this is what's gonna have to do right here.
All
Hey,
right.
look at there's a picture of me in your background. Look at that.
Of course. I've
Wow.
upgraded, sir. Look at my setup now.
Yeah, look at the $10,000 I wasted on the background instead of using it for my wife for a honeymoon or to fix all the stuff in my house. Don't you like all the little kid gadgets in the back, dude?
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you what. What an upgrade.
Oh, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, in his setup, these two things on the side of him, those are just TV trays. Those are not even boxes or stands or anything. Those are actually TV trays that you get from like Walmart.
Great job.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you. All right.
Yes.
So
Yeah, Darziak.
let's get started because I want to respect your time. I know that you might have stuff going on today. And just to forewarn everyone and just to preface the whole conversation.
Oh, that's the other thing. Looking at the title down here. So a few days before this, during the June the King documentary React, he confessed everything about WWE Champions. Not everything, because he lied about it, saying he sold the account. So still lying about it, even when trying to admit about it. So this was like 2 days after he admitted WWE Champions.
Conversation we're about to have. Stuttering Craig is on here today, and thank you for your time, Craig, for being on my Level 1 podcast. To have a conversation with me about last year, what happened with the events leading up to, including, and after my appearance on the Side Scrollers podcast.
And all DSP wanted in this was an apology, because he has an apology fetish, and he thinks he can convince Stuttering Craig to apologize for quote unquote abusing him and screwing him over.
Because there's been a lot of stuff said, all right, on my side, particularly for sure, and a lot of heated stuff I've said. Craig has responded on his content, and we never really sat down to have a conversation about it publicly. And I feel like this is the best way to do it, is to have a forum where we're just going to be cordial with each other. We're going to talk about it, hash it out, figure out exactly what happened, and figure out how to move forward from here. This is not an attack session on Craig. I've already...
What foreshadowing there? It's not an attack section on Craig. Man, DSP lies about lying.
He said this right before Craig showed up, so I'm going to say it again because now we're actually have him on the show. This is not, oh, I don't like Craig. Let's all in the chat rally against him and insult him and stuff. This is not, oh, let's all take pot shots on Craig. There is no surprise guests that are going to show up. There is no shocking gotcha questions here.
All of this aged very poorly when you think about it, especially within this video too.
It's literally not about anything about Craig's background or nothing. This is about just our interaction last year. That's the point. And I want you to know that up front, because I know you had said that, of course, my detractors have to interject themselves into every piece of anything I'm involved in. And they've been contacting Craig saying, oh, he's going to get you. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. That's not going to happen. All right.
Well,
But now,
and
go ahead.
And that's great. I was going to say, and to be fair, I mean, I have invited you. I've tried to do this probably 3 or 4 times since the end of that show.
Yeah, but DSP wants to monetize this. He wants to monetize his hate.
To kind of have this exact conversation. So I am glad we're actually getting around to. Like I said, I said multiple times, I don't care if it's on our show or if it's on your show. I don't care. I think this is great. I'm glad we're able to.
All right, good. Now, that being said, I'd like to introduce
Shout out to everyone's favorite podcast, that being said.
Handsome Tom and Perfect Liz to the show. No, I'm just kidding. That's not happening.
Listen, honestly, I would love that. I would honestly love that. Great.
Okay, so I think what we should do to start the conversation is give a little bit of background about Craig, because a lot of people, on my show may not know, but Craig's been in this space for a very, very long time. Craig, in my opinion, was one of the innovators of making video game content on the internet. I mean, in the mid-2000s, right? You were making big view content on your Screw Attack website. And this was before the era of like YouTube being prominent and everything. Like, you were there in the forefront covering video games, doing countdowns, news stories, going to conventions, doing all kinds of stuff. And you've always been a prominent person in that space. It's not like you've come out of nowhere now with this side scroller
And you're jealous of him too. You're jealous.
show in the last year, you actually have a history, a big established history of making very prominent
It's funny because you know how I know about Stuttering Craig is from Funhouse, from Rooster Teeth. Because I saw him doing like games with Rooster Teeth in Funhouse.
content.
He wants Craig to pick him up and manhandle him on the bed. Yeah, he wants that Craig. What would it be? WBC?
That's how I knew Craig, is because I used to actually watch the Side Scroller show way back in the day in the mid 2000s. And I was a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd who was associated with Screw Attack at
Who you ripped off?
the time. So that's kind of how I got turned on to their content and started watching. Over the years, I did have association with Craig and Screw Attack. For example, I went to, which I know Craig says he doesn't remember. I don't blame him.
No one remembers it, Phil.
Way before I was even a YouTuber, I went to MagFest.
So if you had an association with them before you were a YouTuber, so how is that an association? You just went there as a fan then. So you're saying that any fan that went to that convention had an association with Screw Attack. That's delusion right there.
This gaming convention, and we hung out like the whole time. Like I was with these guys, and we were playing Street Fighter. We played Call of Duty together at the time. There was a Call of Duty competition, and we even judged
He was turned on watching them probably.
a rock band competition together. I don't even know if you remember
Did
that.
we?
Yes, we did. We were
Wow.
both judges on the panel judging people doing rock band and stuff. It was fun.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so that was like our first personal interaction. And then fast forward to years later, I was a YouTuber. I was a big YouTuber in the gaming space. I was like not top, but I was bringing in
But dude, you started it all, remember? According to your words, you were the pioneer. You were the first to do everything, dude.
10 million views a month on my DSP gaming channel. And I wanted to go to conventions and stuff. And I had contacted you when you said you were reviving the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. You were bringing it out of retirement. And I said, I would love to be there as a guest. And you had me as a guest. And let me tell you, Craig, you were the most gracious dude. Like, I knew that you didn't really remember me from MagFest at the time. You were like the most nice guy to me. You were there. And
I like in the chat, has the apology happened yet? They're already asking about that. Let him talk.
I had a table, a vendor booth, and there was a little misunderstanding about a vendor booth with someone else, and we hashed all that out. And basically, you were so cool. And so from my history of knowing you, Craig, you were just a really nice guy. You were a good guy.
Yeah, we hung out the whole time. Oh, I really don't remember. Yeah, it's almost like that psychotic stalker girl that goes after a guy and builds up this relationship in their head. And the guy's like, I don't even know, who the hell are you? Why are you stalking me? And the guy's like, or the girl's like, I'm in love with you. Please marry me. That's Phil right there.
In the gamer space, making this content. We hung out at MagFest. You were so personable. You're such a nice guy. Meet you at Screw Attack Gaming Convention. So all the history I know of you is that you're just a really solid dude, right?
So what changed? What changed, Phil? When did I become so irrelevant?
Oh,
Like,
irrelevant. Not irrelevant. That's not, absolutely not. But basically, I want to preface this of how this whole thing came about, why I would even want to be on your show and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So
I'll give you the real reason, is that his wife, Kat, was a fan of Stuttering Craig, of Screw Attack, loved the Side Scrollers podcast. Before it was political, she loved the game and stuff. So he was trying to win points with his wife by going on here and be like, see, I'm friends with Stuttering Craig. But we all know how the interview went. And she even yelled at him for that.
I heard, what was it? It was either late 2022 or early 2023. I heard through the grapevine, hey, Phil, did you hear that Side Scrollers is coming back? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. Let me check it out. So I actually did my research, and I saw that you had announced that you were going to bring back Side Scrollers. It was going to be a fun podcast about gaming and, all this stuff. And I got interested because I'm like, wow, that's cool. I used to listen to the show when it was audio only way, way back when, and it would be cool to see
Right.
a revival. Now, I didn't know if you were going to have anyone back from the old show or anything, but I'm just curious. So I actually started listening to and watching your show when you revived it. And I just was thinking in the back of my head, now I know at this point, everyone hates me, right? Like, I'm the guy you love to hate on the internet. I'm the guy everyone dumps on as a content creator. But I'm like, man, it would be fascinating if out of nowhere, out of the blue, if Stuttering Craig contacted me.
So this is a little bit of a lie on Phil. So this happened in March, I believe. I think it happened on St. Patrick's Day. But Before that, so this was March 2024 when the interview happened. No, sorry, March 23, I believe it happened. November 22 is when he had a dream. He had an epiphany that he wanted to do an interview to take back control over the trolls and the detractors and gain his power back and become popular again and all this BS. He wanted Moist Critical to interview him. He wanted Asmongold at the time to interview him. And he wanted all these people. He wanted the right interview to show people that the detractors are crazy. He's a good guy and turn his image on the internet around. But then he picked Stutter and Craig and the side scrollers, and we all know how that went.
And asked me to be on his show because that would be wild because I don't go on shows, right? I don't do interviews. I don't do anything. It would be such a cool thing for a guy from my past who, I have a good relationship with. I mean, it's been 10
A
years
guy from my past who I have a good relationship with, and Stutter and Craig is like, I don't know who you are. I don't remember you at all. What a great relationship from the past.
since I talked to the guy.
Makes me wonder about all those friends back in Connecticut that I played Street Fighter with, dude.
But it would be pretty cool if that happened. And then lo and behold, you actually did. And I never thought in my wildest dreams you would have. So what I'd like to preface is that now we're getting to, talking about what happened last year. What actually happened that you reached out to me like that out of the blue after 10 years of no contact?
Yeah, I think that, when Side Scrollers was starting, the show's evolved a little, right? Because it's now a decade later. Right? You can't be doing the same thing that you were doing a decade before and expect success. Evolving live. So, Side Scrollers, the old show used to be it was once a week for 30 minutes, but that was podcast 2006, 2015. Right? It was like,
Craig, your audio is breaking up a little bit, and I don't know if it's your settings or your mic. It kind of sucks. It is breaking up a little bit.
so the long and short of it was like, and
Now, what happened was on Twitter, Stutter and Craig didn't know who DSP was at all. He just knew the name. And he didn't know about the detractors or the trolls or what DSP had done in that like 15 years. And he's like, oh, I'm going to bring Darkside Phil on. He even announced it ahead of time. And DSP wanted to keep it a secret. So he didn't want him to announce it and just be like, oh, here's Darkside Phil. The problem is, Stutter and Craig went on Twitter and he said, oh, I'm interviewing Darkside Phil. What should I ask him? And you know what happens right then? Every single meme comes out, every single moment comes out, every single embarrassing moment from Phil. Of course, number one was, oh, the camera's on. Camera's been on the whole time, huh? And everyone telling Craig what a scumbag Phil is. And yeah, Craig learned a lot about DSP that day.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Craig, we can't hear you now at all for some reason.
This interview was
I don't know what's going
absolutely godlike. That is true.
it showing that I'm
Yeah, it's still you're breaking up. People are saying if you talk louder, you get closer to the mic. I don't know. It could be sensitivity settings in Discord as
should
well.
I get closer to the microphone?
Actually,
Is it better?
that's actually good.
All right, then I will sit right here the entire
Seriously,
time.
that's like really good.
Phil likes that because it looks like there's a cock in his mouth. That's why Phil likes that.
Okay, and we'll just hold my microphone up right here. Okay, so when Side Scrollers, when I was like, okay, we got to bring back Side Scrollers, and the idea behind it was, I left the video game space in its entirety for better part, for about a year. I went and I worked at the firearm, and when I left that startup, I looked back at the video game, and I didn't really have a whole lot of attention.
And Phil's already bored. He's looking around. He's like, what is going on? Come on, please, let me talk about myself, dude. I'm Darkside Phil. Please, let me talk about myself and how it relates to me.
Of ever going back. But I look back to the video game industry places, like what happened? And that was the origin story for Side Scrollers. So, the idea of bringing it back was really like there needs to be show needs to come back. And when we first did the show, the idea was we were going to try to mimic it after the old show. And the internet's not the same as it was 10 years. So naturally the show had to shift. And the show has shifted. and it's become more of a live. It's not necessarily a podcast. People do listen to the audio version of the show, but it's more about being there in the live experience, right? So there's always three of us, four of us, and the fifth, fourth person chat. Chat always has a voice as well.
Right.
So I just like back at Screw Attack, I knew that just how you got to know Screw Attack through the video game nerd, or people got to know um, any of the number of partners that we've had
Someone in chat, Stuttering Craig's mic is stuttering.
throughout the years through Screw Attack. It's always good to grow through association and whole rising tides aspect. And that was always something from the start. Was I want there to be a base crew, and we'll have guests every day, and it'll be a rotating cast of characters. And that's where it came down. I did a few interviews beforehand, and
And also, I want to point out the guest that was on Side Scrollers right after DSP was James Wolfe, the angry video game nerd. If I remember right, Craig has some filter on his mic that he eventually turns off. I believe so, yes.
the idea was, well, I'll just reach out to everybody that I used to know and see if they're interested. So you were brought up, and I had not heard or talked to you in a decade. As you said, I certainly didn't know any of the lore.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about the lore, but he knew the name Darkside Phil.
And kind of
Because I remember when he announced that DSP was going to be on Side Scrollers, he called him an edge lord. The only edging going on is Phil with Tyrone.
really anything. I didn't know if you'd seen success on YouTube. I didn't know if you'd seen. I certainly didn't know about the detractor stuff. So that was, when we announced it, when I reached out to you, and you're like, sure, I was like, okay, cool. And the intention was for you to come on and just be a regular guest on the show.
Right.
And keep in mind, I think we're like 2 weeks into the show. I think we launched February 5th. And I think I announced you like the 1st of March, maybe like February 20th or whatever. And when I announced you, and I announced several people on that show, it was like, I remember almost immediately getting emails where like, dude, you sure about that? Like, are you sure? Do you know what's going on? I was like, no.
Yeah, as soon as you say Darkside Phil or DSP, you know shit's gonna go down.
I didn't know, your entire background. So then the flood of communication comes in, and some people are like, you should not have Phil on your show. You should not. And I was like my thing is communication. I like having conversations, once again, which is why I've reached out to you, in the past about like, hey, well, let's just hash this out. And so naturally, people, they reach out. They're like, do you know this about Phil? Do you know this about Phil? No. And it became very obvious that there was a lot of lore to you and a lot of questions about it that people didn't either were assuming or didn't know the which is why I reached out. And I remember saying like, okay, listen, the intention was to have you on the show, but it's
Now, how weird would it be and funny at the same time is during the Side Scrollers, they put on like duty streams to talk to Phil. That would have been a very interesting conversation.
very obvious. Like, we just have this show, do a normal show, and not address the elephant in the room, which is, the fact that you haven't been on the show in a decade, that you have all these questions about mobile games and blah, 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 and all this
Grooming women that were 17, Panda Lee.
stuff. Like, then number one, it's a missed opportunity for you. And I don't want to be the guy who just like ignores all these questions, right? Because it's interesting. So that's how it. And I was like, well, then we need to do an interview, and that's how the interview came about, right? And so we did the interview. You gave us 5 hours, which is very nice. I think you probably would have gone longer had
And there's also a few quotes in this interview that became very famous too. You'll know it when you hear it.
had everyone not kind of been tired. I mean, talking for 5 hours and doing that for 5 hours was a lot.
Right.
And
Well, he did 5 hours, but then he also did the Patreon video after that too. So when he got destroyed in that interview, he stayed on like another hour to do a Patreon video or a members video or something like that.
you
That's where he showed Blabs the detractor bison hat.
You-
And they all said, oh, it looks like a Nazi hat.
you told us we were very professional. You really enjoyed the interview. And,
Yes.
I remember you saying in particular you wanted to do it again. Like,
Right.
okay, cool.
Okay, hold
and
on, because people are making some very positive suggestions. They're saying if there's anything in your settings that's like noise cancellation or stuff like that, because what's happening is you're talking, and as soon as you stop, it's dropping the next word you say, as if noise cancellation is like kicking in on your mic.
I think
That
this
seems
is
to
where
be
it
the
gets
issue. I
better
don't think
here.
it's actually the distance. It's some kind of a noise cancellation filter, or you know what I mean, like a noise gate.
yeah, this is weird. Good.
Dio says there is a settings gear icon in the lower left of Discord.
What a great interview so far, King.
If you click on that, there will be a voice and video tab or menu, and then there's an input sensitivity all on the left, and that would fix it.
So if I unclick
Thank you, fake Darziak.
that, will that be better?
Let's see.
Is that better now?
That
Can't even tell him his mic is low, blames the audience. Of course, that's on par for DSP.
sounds great, actually. I think we did it.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, that was apparently the culprit here.
All
Input
right.
sensitivity.
We've done it.
F you, Discord. Okay, so that leads us to we do the interview and
Right. Well,
and I
actually, let me jump in.
Of course, DSP has to interrupt him and tell him what you can and cannot say.
Because I do want to talk a little bit about, my perspective going into this interview and the conversations we had. All right, because we want to be transparent about this, and I want to hear your perspective, and I wanted to give my perspective, because let's be honest, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. That's what happens in all these situations. Okay, so from my perspective, you contact me out of the blue, and you say, I want you to be guest on the show, and I'm thinking in my head, I've been watching the show, and the show has been pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and he bitches about YouTube support not knowing anything when he does stuff like this.
These guests get to kind of showcase their expertise from where they come from. They talk about the topics you're talking about, so it makes them look personable, it makes them look good, and then they get to kind of talk about their brand or whatever they're working on. And for me, I actually was just launching a new channel called DSP React, and
Yeah, that really worked out well, didn't it, Phil? You're definitely using that to its fullest potential.
the idea was that I was going to try to use this appearance as a way to kind of launch this channel. I had all these ideas for things for the channel and everything, and this is a way to get it out to a new audience. Maybe you're not interested in seeing me play games, but maybe you want to see some kind of React style content, right? So originally I was just supposed to be the guest, and then you said, well, there's an elephant in the room. All these people want me to interview you. And I was like, well, I knew this was coming because you might not realize this, but the year before, a lot of other prominent YouTubers have been talking about
It's a very interesting point. If one person is lying and the other tells the truth, then there's no middle ground.
me in a very negative light. Okay, one of them was actually Moist Critical, and he had
Okay.
called
So the whole concept of Moist Critical calling out DSP is that, and this is going to be very tame compared to now because his bagging's out of control in 2026. But he had a moment in 2022, I believe, where it's called the Scorn moment. So he was playing the game Scorn, and he was at like $8 or something like that, something very low. His stream ended, but he went into overtime. And then he kept saying, I went into overtime. Nobody gave me money. This is fucking bullshit. And he just went off the rails. And Moist Critical picked up on it and just called him out for begging like a bitch. And DSP made an apology saying, I'm so sorry. If you would have given me money, I wouldn't have to yell at you. Kind of like an abusive step-husband or something. I don't know why I said step-husband. Like a husband. It's like, oh, you just got to give me what I want or else I have to beat you. And then for like 2 streams, he was like not begging. But then all of a sudden, the begging got more and more and more until Kino Casino elevated the begging even more. And then Asmongold elevated the begging even more. And now in 2026, we're at this point of begging.
called me out.
Had the redemption arc that never existed. Well, remember too, DSP famously says there is no redemption arc because he has nothing to be redeemed for because he did everything correct. He did nothing wrong.
For my grifting, that I was begging too much, and how could I do this to my viewers and stuff like that. And when he had done that,
I want you to listen to this. So this is him talking about in 2022. Think about how funny this is after the Asmongold 2025 interview. Because remember, he said, I got rid of goals because people were annoyed because I was begging all the time. But listen to Phil talk about 2022 DSP begging for money and how he changed.
I was begging too much, and how could I do this to my viewers and stuff like that. And when he had done that, I was like, you know, I agree with him, because now when I look back at how I was talking on a particular stream, like I agree with this guy. Like I'm being a miserable wretch. I'm being an ungrateful jerk. I said, but the thing is, if that's the case, right? Why don't you ever interview me? Like if everyone has a problem with me and the way I conduct myself,
He said he changed it, and he was a jerk. With Phil, you always have to realize there are not lines, there are circles. Eventually, he does the same thing over and over, begging, apologize, goes even harder on begging. It's a circle.
or whatever, I would just like to be interviewed and
Yeah, everyone likes me now, Craig.
treated like a person rather than yelled at across the internet from their people's high perches. It's kind of like punching down, right? I'm just a little rinky-dink guy, and I got these giant YouTubers talking about me in a negative way. And I had announced the year before I want to do an interview. Well, of course, who contacts me? Who wants to do an interview? All my detractors, all these assholes. And I'm like, you know what? After thinking about it, I don't want to do an
Phil, that is the biggest thing you can do. If you truly want to break the interview, you should let a detractor, a knowledgeable detractor, actually interview you. One that's actually going to be fair. Because that would be something people would actually pay for. Not pay you, but pay the detractor to see you get interviewed and them having a knowledge of what you did, what you said, and all your contradictions.
interview because they're just going to waste my time. It's just going to be really unfair treatment. So then when you
No, he wants the Aspen Gold treatment where he kisses his ass and says, "How great you are, Phil."
reached out to me and now all of a sudden you're saying, oh, this is going to be an interview, I'm thinking, dude, I know Craig. Craig is a straight guy, you know? He's not,
Unlike you, he's gay.
he's a straight shooter. He's not going to do anything to screw me during this interview.
That's a very weird thing to say. He's straight. He's a straight shooter.
He's going to hit me with hard questions, and I want him to hit me with hard questions. I think I even had
Oh yeah, I would love for Alt to interview DSP because I know Alt would be fair. He's not just gonna like yell and scream at him. He's gonna bring facts. He's gonna bring logic, and I can see him slicing DSP methodically, just like a surgeon, and DSP not even realizing it. What's going on, Nocturnal? How you doing, my friend?
told you that previously when we were talking. So you can ask me whatever the heck you want. You might not
You
like
said
the
you said you want
answers.
yeah, you said you wanted it to be the definitive DSP interview, right?
And how bad did that backfire on DSP? Because going into Side Scroll's interview, he said, when you want an answer, you want to know something about it, I want this to be the ultimate solution. Well, I shouldn't say ultimate solution, that sounds like PWR. This is the ultimate answer. Go watch the Side Scroller interview and you'll get every answer or question that you want. And we definitely got some answers there, Phil.
And
So-
just to be clear, did I do anything during that interview that was dishonorable, or did I hit you at anything that because like I said, you finished that interview and you thought it was very fair. So
Yeah.
did
I would say there were a few times that things were suspect, but at the same time, it was never
Yeah, things were suspect. You asked me questions and you criticized me. How dare you, dude? Don't you know? I'm the president of Snort Korea.
outright like, oh, disrespectful gotcha moment or something like that. The one thing everyone's going to say is when Keemstar showed up, right? Now, I don't know how that came about. You know what? Let's clear the air about that right now.
But Phil, in the interview, he said right before he brought on Keemstar, "Are you okay with me bringing someone on?" You said yes.
sure.
How on earth did Keemstar end up in my interview? Because obviously that was a shock. And if you remember how it happened, it was really questionable circumstances.
And also at this time is when Keemstar, this is before LOLCal Live, and he was trying to get the original host to be Wings of Redemption, Boogie, and DSP. And DSP kept saying, "Oh, he's not doing things my way. He's not contacting me when I'm off stream. He's not emailing me. You have to email me." Like being a little bitch. And Keemstar famously made a video to DSP saying how he's still on mission 1. By the way, this right here, this level 1, that is wrong. Because he named the level 1 after that video from Keemstar, but Keemstar never said level 1. In the video, Keemstar said, "You're still on mission 1." And DSP being DSP with Jinbrain said, "Oh, it's the level 1 podcast," because that's what Keemstar said. What a jackass.
Someone DDoS'd me off the internet. So I couldn't even continue the interview. And as I got DDoS attacked, Keemstar showed up on the show, and everyone's like, "What the heck is this?" Like, I'm sure this is a coincidence, right? So what actually happened?
Yeah, well, and once again, it's been 18 months, so I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to look through my DMs right now to make sure I'm saying this correctly. But from what I recall, he had, like most people at the time, had reached out via DM, and let me see. Actually, I don't want to I don't like to divulge private conversations, but let me go back as best I possibly can to see. Let's see, we did that on what?
FYI, because I don't know if you know this, Craig. I had
Mhm.
Keem on the show last week, and we hashed everything out. We're good.
Cool,
No,
excellent.
There's
no.
no issue. There's no.
What happened was Keemstar went on there to kiss your butt to try and get you on Lolcow Live. He said whenever you wanted, you could see Keemstar in the interview. His head is down, his arms are crossed, he's closed off. That's classic body language of, I don't want to say this, I don't want to be here, let's get this over with. And he did it all for nothing.
No bad blood between me and him.
Because Keemstar realized, because if you notice, Keemstar, Boogie, all those people on LCU, they're always making fun of DSP now. They've learned what Kino Casino learned too last year or the year before, is that there's more money making fun of DSP than there is working with DSP. And especially, you don't want to work with a pedophile groomer like DSP.
So it's not like, oh, you're going to divulge something that he's going to be pissed about. Nah, we even talked about the appearance and everything, why he was on the show. So it's all good. I want to hear from your perspective how it came
Okay.
about.
So I think somebody had mentioned the idea of having him on, and I was like, well, if you're watching, then DM me. So he DM'd me, and the idea was like, look, you said beforehand you didn't want to talk with him, right? And I was like, fine, that's fine. Now, you said your internet went out, right? So that was like, okay, well, let's take this opportunity to, we got Phil here. Let's
Yeah, Phil did say that. It's comfy here on level/mission 1. It's not.
take this opportunity to bring Keem in, right? Because he had DM'd me and he was like, let's talk. And if you recall during that interview, like I was attempting to honor your word there. You said you didn't want to talk to Keem. So I went out of my way to be like, listen, we'll only have Keem on if you're okay with it. And the intention, and I think I've said this at the time, was to build a bridge, right? Was to build a bridge. And to think about this, you probably wouldn't have had Keem on last week had we not done that on Side Strollers, had it not opened up the communication between the two, right? Maybe,
I disagree.
don't know.
I would have had
Okay.
Keem on regardless. I don't think that
Okay.
him being on the interview had anything to do with him being on this show
Okay.
last week.
That's fair. Totally fair. But like I said, I'm just going off of
Yeah, because DSP is responsible for everything. Anything good that happens, it's DSP. Anything bad that happens, it's everyone else, dude.
assumptions. I don't know.
That's fine. I want to hear your perspective. So this
Yeah.
is good. This is good.
So the idea was to build a bridge, right? And whether it worked or not, that's fine. So we had John, and when your internet came back, it was like, okay, I believe, and like I said, been 18 months. I believe we pulled Keem back, brought you back on, and said, hey, we have Keem here. Are you okay with this? Before Keem came back on, right? And the way I like to think of it is probably like
Yeah, and DSP said, yeah, bring him on.
uh, it's halftime of a basketball game, right? So you go down to the sideline reporter to talk to the coach, right? Or something along those lines. And you get there, and like Keem being the color commentator at the time to provide, hey, how do you think this is going type of thing, if that's the best analogy that I can give, like off the cuff. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be malicious by any means. And nothing that we've ever done has meant to be malicious towards you. And I've stated that continuously in my communication with you. It's never been meant to be to tear you down or make.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's DSP's ego. Anytime you criticize him, you say something bad about him, you don't kiss his butt, you're the enemy, you're a detractor, I have to destroy you.
As your words, make money off your misery. That's never been an intention at all. So yeah.
Okay. So I understand what you're saying. I get it. But you have to understand that from an outsider's perspective, okay? Even what you just said, a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people didn't know that I told you beforehand that I didn't want to talk to Keem on this interview. So you've been told ahead of time, I don't want interaction with this man. Literally one of my trolls who works at Comcast.
Oh God, I've heard this story so many times.
DDoS's me. I'm serious. This is proven it happened. There's actually
It's not proven that he DDoS'd you in their interview, Phil. There's no proof of that. Anytime Phil says there's proof of that, it's just him saying it happened. There's no actual proof.
evidence now, and the person's been fired. So
Okay.
the troll who works at my ISP DDoSs me to kick me off my own interview. And you bring specifically the guy I told you I don't want any involvement in this interview
You could have said no, Phil.
onto the interview stream. So I think
Okay,
you can
so-
understand how that looks, right?
So
Phil's not even listening. He's just waiting for his turn. That's right. Phil doesn't listen to anything Stuttering Craig says. He just goes, okay, let's talk about me. Oh, you're going to talk? Okay, well, how can I turn it into something about me?
while you're gone, I'm actually looking at our DMs with right now. He said,
Mhm.
let me pop on so when he comes back he can respond, right? Because I believe, and once again, 18 months. I believe we were talking about Keemstar beforehand, right? So he was broached. The conversation about him was brought up,
Mhm.
right? So I'm of the mind.
Yeah, Phil just nods his head like he wants to speedrun the conversation. That is true. That's how you know he's not paying attention, because he did this throughout the entire interview with Steve Cambion and also Side Scrollers, where people are talking, he just nodding his head, not paying attention.
Mindset that if I would rather talk with somebody than about somebody, right?
Mhm.
And I've said that many times
Bobblehead on the loose.
on our show, and I say that right now, which is why, once again, I'd much rather talk with you than about you. So I think that was the situation. He said, "Let me pop in, so when he comes back, he can respond." Right, and the idea that you said something about Keem. Keem then responded. You come back, and you can then respond to what Keem said while still keeping you separate, right? But the opportunity was there. It was like, hey, well, look, once again, Keem, you can talk about DSP. DSP, you can talk about Keem. Why don't you just talk to each other right now and hash all this shit out, and everyone's better for it.
Oh, the other thing too is DSP was pissed off because Keemstar was harassing him, like as he said, about being on Lolcow Live and was offering him $50,000 to be on the podcast. And DSP said, well, if you want to offer me that money, you better have to email me when it's off stream. Don't interrupt my streams, dude. And we saw the same thing with the Kino Casino DM leaks, where he would get mad at Andy and PvP if he was contacted on his day off.
Right. So, if you saw it as like I said, my goal ultimately wasn't to create any distrust or anything. It was more meant to be a positive experience, and hopefully it was.
Okay, so from my perspective, all right, you're absolutely right. So I'm getting DDoS attacked. I come back, and you ask me,
Oh, and that's the other thing too. So during that interview that he had with Keemstar, he was saying how, oh, they were just razzing each other and ribbing each other and joking about stuff. But DSP put out a video saying how he might get a restraining order against Keemstar at the time because he wouldn't stop harassing him and his family members. And he was saying how, I don't want to date you, Keem. Stop giving me flowers and candy. I don't want to date you, dude.
hey, Keem,
He actually said the words, I don't want to date you.
who's on the show already? Is it okay? Can we have him on? You absolutely did that. I can confirm 100%. I mean, it's already recorded, but yes, you did that. And that's very respectful of you that you did that. And I said yes.
There you go, Phil. He asked you, you said yes, you could have said no. This is your fault then, Phil.
In my mind, I'm already desperately trying to get back on the show because if it looks like I cut out of the show, everyone on the internet is going to say I'm a coward. I ran from the tough questions. So I'm doing everything I can to get back as soon as I can. The moment I get back, he's there. And it's like, I've already been grilled. And this is probably,
Grilled. Just being asked questions is being grilled.
a very stressful thing going on. I'm sure you could figure out for me. And then to now be presented with the man who I told you specifically I didn't want to talk to on the show. Yeah, it smacked me in the face. And then on top of that, you say, well, is it okay? Now, what if I say no? Again, now that makes me look bad. I look like I'm the guy who doesn't want to play ball, who isn't willing to talk.
But Phil, you told him before the interview, according to you, that you didn't want to talk to him. So you've already told him behind the scenes, I don't want to do this. So wouldn't that make you not a team player then?
Who's just
Yeah, it makes me look bad.
an obstinate jerk who just wants to, have it his way. So, of
But Phil, you're saying that behind the scenes.
course, I'm going to say,
All Phil cares about is the perception of him on the stream. He doesn't care that he's an a-hole. He doesn't care that he's a douchebag behind the scenes because no one sees that, dude.
Yes. Now, in reality,
He does that himself, yeah.
did anything come out of that conversation with Keem? No. What happened was we went back and forth for like 5 minutes. Nothing came of it. And then he plugged his Happy Punch boxing. Okay. Which is really the reason why he was on the show. All right. That's why he wanted.
No, Phil, he was trying to get you in the LCU. He was trying to honey dick you. But you're such an idiot. You thought, oh, dude, I'm gonna get the internet talking about this. It's gonna be a great interview, and it sucked so much ass, Phil. It was one of the worst interviews I've ever heard. Even Keemstar didn't want to be there.
To be on your show to plug his upcoming content. All right. He
Well, that's
did
what
want
he
to
does.
talk to me for sure. That's true. But he definitely was on the show to plug his content. And that's literally what you allowed him to do, is do an advertisement. Okay.
So, okay,
Yeah, dude, you advertised Keemstar during my interview. It's supposed to be about me.
real quick, and once again, it's been 18 months, it's been a year and a half. Maybe my things are a little fuzzy, right?
Mhm.
I'm looking through my email, and I actually don't see any reference to Keemstar at all in that. So
Oh, oh, how funny is that, Phil? How funny is that? It's almost like you lied.
maybe it was mentioned beforehand. I don't know. Maybe I knew there was some sort of beef between you guys or something.
Yeah, we did. We had beef on the internet. And I believe
Right.
at one point, I don't know if specifically it was like Keemstar, but I know you had said, is there anyone? I said, I just want it to be us, right? I don't want to have guests coming on and stuff.
Right,
I
right,
want it
right,
to be
right.
our conversation, right?
So you notice how his whole story changed there? Before it was like, I told you specifically, I don't want to talk to Keemstar. Now he's saying, oh, I just told you I want it to just be us and no guest. He didn't mention Keemstar at all. All he said was, I don't want any guests, but before he goes, I don't want Keemstar on. Funny how a liar lies. So paranoid, yeah.
Right? That's what it was supposed to be. So,
Okay, so-
having this guy is shocking that he's in there. Why is he on this interview, right?
Okay, I get it. Right, I get it. So,
Okay.
but with that said, we did finish up, and you were totally pleased with things, regardless of if Keem appeared or not.
Mhm.
You were pleased as punch. Said you want to do a second time. I said I'd like to do a second time, and to be clear, everything was great. And
Now, the reason DSP found out that he got fucked in that interview, because DSP fucked DSP. Stuttering Craig didn't fuck him. DSP fucked DSP. He did his decompression stream on his own channel, and he thought it went well. Then his audience was like, no, you look really bad. That was a horrible thing. You look 10 times worse now. And then that's when it took over. And then he's like, what? They made me look bad? How, dude?
until the next day, right?
That's right.
Now,
Now, to preface this,
hmm
we had actually, in our discussions about this interview, the discussion was we were going to do this giant, hard-hitting, harsh interview. And then once we got through it, I can't remember the exact wording you used, but basically it was kind of like, let's get through the tough thing, and then let's do the fun thing, right? First, let's
Yeah.
do the interview, then let's have you on as the guest as you were intended to be originally, right? That was the whole intention of this thing.
Yep.
So you're absolutely right. After the interview, I jumped on my own personal stream and I expressed to my audience, listen, I knew it was going to be a rough interview. I knew
That's not what happened at all. He was all happy about it. He thought he did a good interview.
he was going to ask
And he said it was fair, too.
questions, that I wasn't going to be able to provide evidence of my side of it or whatever. And that's fine. I just wanted to have a place where people can see all of my answers. So they'll stop bugging me on my streams about this stuff, because it really had nothing to do with my content. You're talking about mobile games and expenses and shit. It has nothing to do with the broadcasting I'm doing every day of gameplay and stuff like that.
Except you were begging for money because you couldn't pay your bills, but at the same time spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on WWE Champion and mobile games. Also, we found out in 2026, at the same time, he's buying retro games while begging for money, saying he can't pay his bills, too.
I just wanted to be somewhere else. So I actually was happy that we had covered all of that. All right? So by the end of that day,
And also, I want to point out, before this interview, he told his audience, don't watch it. If you're a real fan of mine, don't watch it because you don't want to hear the answers.
100%, I was okay with how everything had gone down. Even the shocking surprise guest and all that came, whatever. So now I would like to hear your methodology about what happened the next day on your stream, because what you had publicly said, you could correct me if I'm wrong. You had publicly said On Friday, the day after, you were going to do a decompression day where you guys were just going to sit around playing Mario Kart, shooting the shit, and having a fun day. That was the original intention after this crazy interview, but that is definitely not what happened.
Yeah, so you're right. I said we're going to do a decompression stream, and the intention was, and remember, once again, we're a month into the show, and at the time, we actually did test out like Friday gameplay streams, right? We were trying to test those things out. Now, some more context for you. The last time the audience saw Adam is the last time I saw Adam. So Adam left. He went to go have some dinner. So the first time that people saw Adam the next day was when I saw Adam the next day, right? Maybe 60 seconds before that we started the show.
Let's clarify. Adam is one of your co-hosts, so people might not know. He's one of your co-hosts on the side scroll.
Yeah, he was. He's doing his own thing now, which is great. And he just had a kid, and like I'm super stoked for him. And he's welcome to come on the show anytime. Which, by the way,
DSP with a thumbs up. Yeah, he had a kid. Thumbs up, dude.
I do think that you and Adam
That's something I can't do because the trolls do. They made me end my bloodline. Plus, my dick doesn't work anymore, dude.
should hash it out as well, right? Okay, so with that said, so the next day we come in and we do a decompression, and really just for the first time have an opportunity to talk about what's happened. Usually this would happen like you did. You left and you went on and did your own decompression stream, right? And so that was our first opportunity to do our decompression stream. Now, Adam thought you were full of shit, right? And he said
And he's right.
so in so many words, right? And when I think that's the thing about the interview, which was really unique, was I had done a lot of research on you and everything leading up to, based off of what right or not, what people were saying about you and questions about you.
Well, this is a good point to break off before we get to your Friday stream.
And also, too, DSP always says, if outside people ever saw what the detractors were saying or doing and saw me, they think the detractors were fucking crazy. They're fucking nuts. They need to be locked up. And they'd say, oh, this poor guy, he's being harassed. Well, Adam was an outside person that knew nothing about DSP, and he knew the bullshit right away. He knew DSP was full of it, and he called him out on it. Same thing with Stephen Cambion.
So what exact research did you do? Like, who did you talk to? What information were you gathering upon when you went into this interview? Because I think people want to hear your perspective of what your notions were me going into this thing and how it turned out.
Well, I mean, I did talk to pretty much anybody and everybody that I could talk to about you. I mean, let me see if I can find my Google Docs about it, and I can tell you exactly what my research was. But yeah, I went in and made that. But I do want to finish my point here. And
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
The idea that I had a somewhat of a background. I'd done a couple weeks of research on it, like way more research than you possibly should do for an interview, right? But my thought was, and I said this before, and I'll say this again, I wanted to treat you with respect. I wanted to treat me with respect, and I wanted to treat the audience with respect, right? And I had a pretty good idea of what the audience was going to look like, right, for this. Here we go. I got this doc right here. Potential.
What is going on, bro? Side Phil, how you doing, my friend?
DSP questions, right? And
Okay.
this is,
Yeah, we are revisiting the rematch. Craig versus DSP. So many classic lines in this.
it's all various things that we touched on, right?
Now, where did this come from? Was this like you asked people what questions you would want me to ask them?
Now, this is funny because this is what DSP does every single time. Is anyone that listens to the detractors, talks to a detractor, their mind is poison. They got mind control, dude. It's all over. They're not reasonable people, dude.
DSP, and you made a compilation. Is that what this document is?
No, I think a lot of this was just through various DMs and communication, things that people had asked and
Yeah, Craig bodied this man so hard. Yes, twice actually.
wanted to know about you. Obviously, the WB Champions thing, the various clips that broader questions. How do you think? Let's see. I'll just go down the list. I've been told not to interview you. Why do you think that is? When you stream, who is streaming, Phil or DSP?
And that's a distinctive too, because Phil always said in the past, I don't play a character. I'm myself. I'm real. I'm not like the other content creators. But in 2026, he's saying, oh, it was all a character. I was just playing a role. You can't have both. You can't be doing yourself and not playing a character, but playing a character and not yourself. Make that make sense, Phil.
What have you done to change the perception from a production standpoint? Right. So,
Right.
like I said, there's a list of these things,
Right.
and then there's like some of my notes in here, right, where we talk about, what there's. I remember one point in particular we were talking about your, you've been doing this forever, but you don't have a business plan or a financial plan. People were really hung up about
Well, guys, in 2026, he has the Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards. That is his retirement plan, dude.
your taxes. So,
Mhm.
wanted to touch about that.
Jordaners acting, it's me unless it's not. And he'll tell you, depending on circumstances, that is true.
How you spend your money, obviously, with WDB champions, which
Right.
we can talk about that in a little bit.
Can you imagine if he didn't spend all that money on WWE champions? He could have paid off his condo in Connecticut. He could have paid off his Washington condo. He could have fixed his house. There's so many different things. Obviously, a honeymoon. There's so many different things he could have done, and his life would have been different if he wouldn't have spent all that money on WWE champions and all that money on statues. Don't forget the don't forget the retro game collection he lied about on his bankruptcy report. Yes. So he was spending money on statues, collectibles, retro game collection, mobile games. Because remember, it wasn't just WWE champions. At one point, he said he was playing like 3 or 4 at the same time. I think someone estimated that during his heyday at YouTube, he wasted over $2 million. DSP was a millionaire. All he had to do was pay off the damn Storefort mortgage. That's right. He would have had so few problems right now if he just used that money correctly.
So Craig, you have to understand. Literally every question you just asked. I mean, just think about it. Every question you just asked is basically like personal stuff, and it's stuff that might.
Yeah, personal stuff about WWE champions because you were begging your audience to pay your bills, save your house, pay your taxes, or you're going to lose everything and go homeless while you're spending all that money in the background. Glad DSP is a dumbass, much more enjoyable seeing him flounder. That is true. The money in DSP is the crash outs. How do you get the crash outs from DSP? Lack of money. The lower his support is on a stream, the more likely he's going to crash out. So, like I said, if you get him like $50 or less on a stream, you're going to get some classic crash outs, especially if it's multiple streams in a row.
Detractors would want to know. Okay. So now I'm just telling you from an outside, from your perspective, from an outsider's perspective, or even my perspective, it sounds to me like what you did for 2 weeks is you just said, hey, everyone who doesn't like Phil, contact me.
Oh, that is a good point as well. DSP is complaining that Craig asked him personal questions, but at the same time, he told Craig about catch a restraining order without being asked about it. Yes, don't troll tip him. That is one of the worst things you can do because you're still putting money in his pocket. You're still being smug side Phil, and that makes you a dead tractor as well. The other thing too, I want to point something out here. On Kick, all these people that are troll tipping him on kicks, like 100 kicks here, 200 kicks there, 500 kicks there, DSP actually keeps 100% of the kicks. So Kick is one of the more generous platforms. So for example, if someone gives a sub or a membership, whatever it's called on Kick, DSP collects 95% of that. If someone gives him kicks, he keeps 100% of that. So if you're troll tipping him 500 kicks, which is $5, he keeps that $5. Even giving him a view on Kick is, yes, that's the other thing too. So if you watch him on Kick, you're giving him money by viewing it because he's part of the Kick partner program, so he gets paid by views too. So my suggestion is if you want to watch it on Kick, watch someone else's restream. If you want to watch it on Twitch, you want to watch it on YouTube, there's always options other than DSP.
And talk to me. I mean, you even had a clip from It's a Gundam.
Speaking of that, I have an AI bot apparently on Twitch. Thank you, AI bot, for the engagement.
One of the most infamous people who rags on me all the time as an audio question at the end of the interview.
Papa
And
Gundam, yeah.
what I would like to ask you right now, and I hope that you'll be honest with me,
Sure, I will.
in your
I would have loved it if It's a Gundam was a live interview of DSP. That would have been so funny.
efforts to gather information about me for this interview, did you talk to anyone who actually likes me?
Well, I think I
Well, define like you, Phil. I don't think there's anyone that likes you other than like Slayer and Jade and Derek at the time. Because I think Derek was still with Phil at this time too.
was open to talking to anybody
He might have been kicked out before this though.
who would, but nobody reached out that said they really liked you. And I
That is so sad, Phil. So he reached out to Phil's fans, but no one would talk to him. Imagine him trying to talk to Jade. Imagine him trying to talk to Darziak while Darziak's like jerking his dick to dragon porn or whatever.
I don't mean that negatively. I mean, I said I
Oh
was
no,
doing
there's
this
a good
interview.
reason for it, and I'll explain it in a second. But go
Well,
ahead.
But so with that said, like, when you say
If it's before the Casino Boy arc, then no. So this is like a few weeks into the Casino arc. So I can't remember exactly the timeline of Derek getting kicked out, but I know it's very, very early in the Kino Casino thing.
you're going to do an interview with somebody and you say, "Hey, I'm open to talking to all people,"
Now, the funny thing is, he's talking about how no one would stick up for him, no one would talk to Stuttering Craig, and he's going to say, well, they're just going to get harassed by detractors. However, June the King actually interviewed DSP Dents, one of them being Darziak. Darziak actually confirmed that. And in the June the King, they said, well, he's definitely on the spectrum, Dark Side Phil, and said that they looked at him as a buddy, that he was in trouble. They needed his help, and they had to give him money because he was in such dire straits.
if
I think it was around this time. I think these Keeman and Craig interviews were victory laps after the Null interview. Maybe that's possible.
if there are people who go out of their way to like you, they didn't reach out to me, right?
Okay.
So
It's because there's no real fans.
your theory of like I only collected things from detractors at the time, you know what? It may be right, but once again, it wasn't malicious. These are all
The Golden Gaming Triangle, shout out to them. YouTube channel just rewatched that interview with Kiwi Farms, and boy, I thought I hated DSP, but now I want to deplatform the mental gymnastics he was trying not. Oh yeah, because he was trying to not kick Derek out, and he even said that, oh, if I kicked out Derek, then they're just going to go after other people. Phil, so you're saying I want to keep the pedophile in your chat so they don't look at the other pedophiles? I'm telling you, the biggest detractor to DSP Gaming is DSP Gaming. Yes, sad for two reasons.
all things that people were curious about. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to admit, Phil, when you're essentially radio silent for a decade and people don't go in and they don't have an opportunity to interview you, it's important to flush those pipes out and just get it all out there, right? It goes back
Mm-hmm.
to the elephant in the room, right? When you have this giant elephant that everyone's staring at, if you don't have an opportunity to talk about
Yeah, which makes me subject or suspect. He knows if other people have very questionable backgrounds or DSP might have one himself. Well, look at Darziak. His huge, what was it, like 500 fetish list, and he wanted to be like a 500-year-old gay dragon from like New Zealand or whatever. Yeah, flush the pipes, flush the duty.
those things,
I'm surprised DSP doesn't like Duty more, considering his name is Duty, and DSP has a scat fetish.
whether they're personal
But then again, that's maybe why he's obsessed with him.
or not, right? Then they should be addressed because that is what the DSP lore is all about.
Right.
So, if you did have to use the opposite side of this, the detractor versus the champions for DSP, not a single
The champions. Okay, there.
champion reached out
The only champions they're at is the Special Olympics champions.
and was like, "Hey, did you know this? Did you know that Phil donates to charity? Did you know whatever?" Right?
That'll never happen.
And had they, then we would have. Now, with that said, leading up to this, you also knew what this was going to look like because
Mhm.
you prefaced me. I mean, I have our emails pulled up, and you gave me like sent me ammo saying, "Hey, this is what I think they're going to ask." And I feel like I've addressed a lot of these things. You sent me videos of you addressing these things, but as you said, you wanted this to be the definitive DSP interview, right?
Right.
So if you want it to be the definitive DSP interview, then naturally I should be listening to everybody who has criticisms of you. And if there is this lore that's attached to it, then I wouldn't be doing my job as the interviewer to do research, good and bad, about the interviewee. Otherwise, it's a fluff piece.
And I believe Stuttering Craig has a degree in journalism too.
Okay. And fair enough. And I accept that answer. But now I'm going to give you my response. Okay.
He's basically like, well, I heard what you said, but fuck you. This is what really happened, dude.
Sure. And you probably don't know this. All right. The reason that my fans don't reach out and get
I wonder what he's going to say. He says this every time. They're going to get harassed.
involved in this kind of stuff is because my detractors, okay, those people who you were talking to get questions to ask me, systematically hunt down, harass, dox, and do horrible things to anyone who publicly supports me. Okay. And I'm not just talking like, oh, someone was in the chat and said, I like Phil. I mean, they'll try to hunt these people down, find their social media, find where they live, find where they work, call them, harass them, call them pedophiles, do horrible.
Now, Phil, I haven't heard anything about calling people's work. I've never heard any dents. Well, then again, dents don't work. They're government assisted. I've never heard anyone go, oh, I called a DSP supporters work line, which is contradiction because they're all on benefits. Call them pedophiles. You mean like Derek with the playlist of 300 cute little girls? People like me, Craig. I'm having a resurgence, dude. Yeah, when one of them is pedophile, they deserve what they get. Yeah. Like, he fought so hard for Derek to stay in his community. And even after, he said, well, I don't see why it's my responsibility to get rid of him. He was a nice guy. It didn't matter what he did off camera, as long as he didn't bring him to the stream. He basically said, Derek can be a pedophile outside the stream. Look at all these videos, as long as he's not doing it in the chat. By the way, there was one time, I don't know if you guys remember it. Derek has dual monitors. So one monitor he looks at Darkside Phil, one monitor he looks at porn, and he accidentally wrote in the chat one time, MILFs take Miami 3. I can't imagine him like beating his micro penis while watching DSP and porn at the same time. Yeah, I don't want to give the detractors a W.
Horrible things to them. There's been supporters documented who give me a $100 tip and then they get hacked and stuff. It's really, really messed up. I mean, case in point, Craig, do you not remember? Maybe you don't remember this. It was like a week or two before the interview. They tried to dox you. You remember that, right? And I told you about it. I said, just so you know, they gave your an address on the internet, and I don't think it's real. And you know, they did it to you. So if they're doing it to you, obviously they're not going to. My fans who like me,
I didn't even see that, so I don't know what that is. I can't verify that.
are not going to speak up in a public venue like that and be like, oh yeah, now I want to talk about Phil. No, they'll watch me.
The person that was doxing Craig was Superhound. Oh, that makes sense. Anyone that's new to DSPverse, Superhound was a person who would strike channels in the name of Darkside Phil, because DSP is kind of like a retarded mob boss, where he will never do anything himself. He will never tell people what to do, but he'll hint at it. He'll be like, it'd be a shame if this detractor channel went down. It would be a shame if something happened to the detractors. And then Superhound would go and strike Duty and Snort Hogan and all these people. And it's a mob boss mentality because it can't be traced back to him. There's no blood on his hands. But then again, he is retarded.
They'll silently
Supercook is such a... that is true.
support me, as they have done for a very long time, but they're not going to put themselves into the line of fire of these already deranged people. Okay? And you maybe didn't know that. So I got to give you the benefit of the doubt here, that I got to trust you, say that you were doing what you thought was fair. But a lot of people were going into that interview thinking, okay, he's going to ask tough questions. But at the same time, maybe we'll talk a little bit
Yeah, tough questions like, did you spend money on WWE champions? And why did you see all this racist stuff?
about the positivity about Phil's 16-year history.
That's exactly what he did with Raw. Phil hinted at mass reporting him. Yeah, it's weird because him and RTU do the same thing. It's the mob boss mentality, where he will hint or do a dog whistle for people to do something, but then claim no responsibility when it happens, even though you created the environment for it to happen in.
On YouTube. The good old days, or even what's good about what he does today, how he's improved, stuff like that. Like, there was none of that. It was literally just like negative, 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 negative. Now,
Now, I have to ask the question, Phyllis, if everyone's talking about negative stuff with you, what exactly is the positive? There is no positivity with DSP. There's no DS positivity.
I told you I was okay with
DS positive.
that. All right. But from, again, outsider, they're looking at the situation like Craig just sat around for 2 weeks claiming he did all this research. And all he literally did was talk to the people who hate Phil the most, compiled it into a ball of negativity, and threw it at him.
Now, I believe Craig did watch videos too from DSP and detractors.
And that's the perception of that interview at this point from those who aren't my detractors, basically. In fact, just to give you another example, Mike Klum, who I was planning on possibly doing a documentary with this year, said to me directly, you realize that Side Scrollers interview was just for your detractors, right? Like no one else cares. No one else watched it.
I doubt he even said this, because DSP takes conversations, twists them to whatever is inside of his head, which is absolutely scary and empty. And he will make a conversation and a relationship up in his head to whatever fits his narrative.
Said, oh, it was literally a detractor interview. And that's all it'll ever be. That's why you should do positive content like a documentary, because you.
But in my opinion, this is what really happened. He reported Raw Phil as the one freezing his chat, or definitely made it seem like the one freezing his chat was in cahoots with Raw Phil. Yeah. So he did the dumbest thing ever where he said, well, this person is freezing my chat, and now you're harboring the criminal. You're responsible, Raw Phil. You're harboring a criminal. Now, Phil, if you want to take that logic, think about all the degenerate and losers and possibly pedophiles in your chat. Who's responsible for them, Phil?
You need to have parts of your truthful nature, your personable, personality come out. No one saw that in the interview because it was literally detractor question, detractor question, detractor question.
With all due respect to Mike, do you not think he was just puffing up your chest to try to get you to do a documentary with him?
There we go. He was greasing the wheels. He was honey dicking him.
Of course he was. I mean, let's be honest. Of course he wanted to do a documentary.
So he admits it, and then he says, "Oh no, he was truthful, dude."
With me, but I mean, from all this nonsense, there's always a little moment of truth, right? And it rings true. That interview, if you watch it back, you don't get to learn anything about me besides all the things people don't like about me, and that sucks because that's there forever. That's a video that launched you guys into prominence for a while, right? I think you can agree. Can we agree there? Can we just say that interview did give you a launching board to popularity, right? And I'm not saying that anything that came after is a result of me. I'm not.
Oh my god, look at the narcissist right here. Like, you're only popular because of me. It couldn't be because people know who you are, like your podcast. You interviewed AVGN. You talk about games. No, 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 no. You're popular because of me. What's going on, Dreebert? How you doing, my friend?
But was that not the piece of content that launched your show into prominence and people wanted to hear from the side scroll?
And look at Stuttering Craig. He's like, you son of a bitch. Everything has to be about you, doesn't it? You son of a bitch.
I think that it raised awareness that Side Scrollers was back, but to think that anybody who
What's going on, Unfiltered Podcast Texas? Big up Dash. Suffer, Phil. Suffer.
watched that, like I would say, we had Phil 2,500 people tuned in live to watch that show, right? We had 3,000 watching our show today, right?
That's right.
Of that 3,000 who watched our show today, how many of those of that 2,500 were there?
Probably zero because your show today is a different show. It's completely different content.
Well, it's not an interview. It's not about Phil. And I think I recognize that.
Ooh, that hurt his ego. It's not about Phil.
Right? Now, did it raise awareness? Sure. Is it why the show's been successful? No.
Oh, no, and I agree with you there. Your show is taken off, and I want to say kudos and congrats to you for having a very successful show now. I mean, it's blown up, and that's great. But people didn't know about Side Scrollers until my interview. Is that a fair statement to say?
It raised awareness. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But just like our interview with the Tetris CEO, or us talking about Concord or Dustborn or whatever, like, once again, the show was changing we were trying to figure out what the show was, and it took about a year before we figured out what the show was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's with any show. It's like your testing phase, you're seeing what works, what doesn't work, and you're changing it on the fly to make it better. You're not constantly being like, first show, oh, this is it, this is all we need, boom, 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 no changing. No, every single episode, you have to change, you have to evolve, you have to look at what works, what doesn't work. A lot of analytics go into it.
You remember you were saying
Yeah.
on the show, no politics. And now it's like, it's completely flipped. Like, that's mostly what you're talking about these days.
I
you know?
disagree. I don't think what we talk about is politics.
I started watching them after they had the interview of DSP, and I have that time I didn't even know who DSP was. It wasn't until Crimson Desert Country Buffet when I found out what. Oh, that is a wild time to find out about DSP.
At all. I think we talk about the culture of this stuff. Very
Well,
rarely.
fair enough. I'm okay. Not hardcore politics. I agree with you there.
Very
Okay.
rarely do we actually talk about Democrats or Republicans or anything like that. No, we talk about the culture associated.
Culture, I
with the
get it.
game, which I think from a video game perspective is way more important than whether a game gets a 7 or an 8 in a score. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made me look like an asshole, then got more popular than me, correct? That is a true statement right there.
And I think that's what's limited, because at the end of the day, you see a number of the reason why side scrollers is working is, and our audience is growing, is because we know that there are a bunch of, as we say in our chat, our community is called normal men. They're called normal men for a reason, because there's a bunch of normal men who are looking around going like, yo, what the hell's happening? And this isn't right. This is not normal.
It's very weird because I will say this about his podcast, Side Scrollers. He's talking about normal men, but it's, from what I see, it's mostly women on there.
And the thing about side scrollers, we do the exact same thing now that we did.
But I will say I have since then quit watching them because it started being not just about video games and the gaming industry as a whole, but now everything pop culture in that ain't why I started. Yeah. Well, that's the whole analytic things. They have to look at what works, what doesn't work. You expand on what does work, and then you phase out what doesn't work. And unfortunately, the video game stuff didn't work for them, so they had to go into the pop culture reference stuff.
A decade ago. It's just in a different package, because a decade ago,
Craig's a simp now who wears makeup. DSP wears makeup. And he's a buff man, dude.
we were laughing at all the stupid
He's buffer than Johnny Cage and the actor that plays He-Man, dude. He's just rippling with muscles.
shit that was happening in the video game space. Now there's just way more stupid shit that happens in the video game space that we can talk about it every day. It's the same premise. It's just
Oh, and I will say this. Right here. I can't stand Blabs. At first, I thought she was a mute because she wasn't saying anything. Then I heard her voice. I'm like, oh my god, turn off that video right now. God damn, that voice.
in a different package. So, anyways, with that said, like I said, the show was evolving, the show was changing, and we haven't done like an interview on the show in I'd say almost a year. Because the interviews were fine, and they were originally supposed to be a regular weekly part of the show.
Me too. I don't understand why she's even on that show. Yeah. Yeah. Well, at one point they had Melanie Mac, and the episodes, like, I only watch a clip here or there, but the episodes of Melanie Mac and Blabs talking to each other, oh my god, that's insufferable. That is like the worst thing ever. It's like two birds talking to each other that are like retarded.
But once again, it takes a while to figure out what the show is, and now we have a good idea of what the show is, who our audience is, and we're there. Now, once again, did those interviews help raise awareness? Absolutely. But I can't, I'd say it's a chapter of the side scroller story, and just as side scrollers is a chapter of the DSP story.
Sure. I will agree with you on that. The show today has nothing to do with me. I'm not trying to take credit for it whatsoever. In that,
Phil, I'm not trying to take credit for it, but you just said you got popular because of me. Those are two different statements, Phil. You can't say the only reason you're popular is because I was on your show, but then say, oh, I had nothing to do with you becoming popular. DSP today, DSP tomorrow.
regard, you've done good for yourself, putting it in its new own space, and it stands out. Okay.
I used to like Melanie Mac, but when she started the whole Gooner Gate thing, I said, you're a wolf in sheep's clothing? Yeah. Well, Melanie Mac she goes wherever the money's at.
So getting back to now,
Well, look at her with the quartering. She's defending the quartering over everything.
because we did get derailed there talking about the beforehand. So the interview happens. All of a sudden, all eyes are on you guys because you did this interview with DSP. Friday is supposed to be a decompression stream with Mario Kart, but instead it turns into something else. So now let's get into this. So what actually went down on that Friday show for you?
Yeah, we went in, we talked about things, and we do what we do every day. We just talked about what's in the news. The difference was that we were the news, and the interview was the news in the sphere, and people wanted to hear our thoughts about it for the first time, and that was the first time we'd got together. So you listen to your audience, and when the audience says we want to hear your thoughts about what happened yesterday, you do that. And for us, it was a Friday, so naturally we're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna give the weekend to decompress, and then we're gonna resume the show on normal on Monday. It doesn't matter if Mario Kart was played or not. The intention
If you notice too, DSP keeps looking to the side. He's looking at chat. He's trying to see what people are saying, if they're backing him up or they're backing up Craig.
was still the same, was to talk about what just happened the day before for the first time, just like you did the day before with the decompression stream. Now, was it what you wanted to hear? No. But was it honest? Yes.
Now, what he's talking about here is, so there was a stream set up for Mario Kart. They changed it into talking about DSP. And DSP that night canceled his night stream so he could react to what Side Scrollers was saying about him. And throughout his whole stream, he would rewind and he would fast forward just to look at the super chats. Because he was looking at every single super chats, what's being said, how much money it is, and he's pocket watching every single thing. Which is weird because he's complaining in that stream that they're monetizing him, but at the same time, DSP is reacting to them and he's monetizing them. So Hypocrite Side Phil is monetizing someone else when he's complaining they're monetizing him.
And honestly, I think that when it comes to the reasons why we were upset was, and specifically Adam was upset, was because he smelt shit, and whenever he'd say it, it was like talking in circles.
Well, you know there's gonna be shit when DSP opens his mouth.
And I think that there's like a lot of that stemmed from the WWE Champions thing. That's where a lot of the meat came from, right? So we asked you about that several times. We got the runaround on it.
Here we go. We're starting to get into the juicy stuff now.
All knew it was the runaround, right? There were, we talked about you sharing your account, and then and then that didn't happen, and that was when the internet went out and everything associated with that. And so
Yeah, so if anyone didn't see it, Greg was saying, just send me the name of your account on WWE Champions, because DSP admitted on Side Scroller's podcast interview that he did still play WWE Champions, but he was not down from the rafters. And DSP kept saying, well, I can't do that because it would put my family at risk, because it would show everything associated with my Apple account, which doesn't make any sense at all. And he kept saying, I'll send it to you after. And Craig's whole thing was, well, you could have bought a new account. You could have created a new account and just sent it to me. So I'm not going to accept it after. If you want me to know your name, just send it to me. I won't tell anyone. I'll keep it to myself just so I can verify that you're not the same person. And then 2 days before this interview, he admits that he's down from the rafters, which means he lied in the interview with Stuttering Craig, where he's saying, I'm not down from rafters, but I'm playing WWE Champions. And this is what Craig's going on about.
So we were upset about it, right? Because we smelt the shit. And I think that there's actually a lot of irony when it comes to this, and that just was I get sent clips to you all the time, and leading up to this especially, where you talked about WWE Champions, and you said that you spent for forever lying about it, right? So, so with that said, do you think that you admitted to lying about this, right?
Look at DSP's body language, by the way. His arms are crossed now because he's been caught in a lie. Craig has the information. He's very uncomfortable, and look at his eyes. He's looking at chat to see who's believing him right now and what people are saying. This has to be one of the most smug DSP has ever been. Yes. This is during the height of the Kino Casino.
Do you think that we had a right to be upset because we felt you were lying? We knew you were lying. You admitted to lying.
Mhm.
Do you feel that we had a right to be upset the next day?
Well, let me okay. Let me put it into
See, he refuses to say yes or no. He has to put his spin on it, his DSP spin.
these terms. Okay, when a guest is going to
He was emboldened by the Kino arc, acting as if he was the king beyond reproach. Yeah, he thought he finally escaped the trolls, the detractors. He thought Kino Casino was going to be his pit bulls and attack all the detractors, attack Duty, attack Memology, attack Snort, attack That Being Said, and he was going to take them all down. He thought he was going to be a top YouTuber, and he thought that everything was over. He was going to make money, he's going to be popular, and that's the mindset. So during this Kino Casino arc, when he's smug, this is the real DSP coming out right here.
be on a show and they're going to be interviewed, and they know there's going to be hard hitting questions, and that was all previously established. All right, we knew all this was going to.
Okay, so you acknowledge that they were going to ask you hard questions, but you still complained they asked you hard questions. You really thought that he had best friends who would act as bodyguards for him? That is correct.
Happen. That's why I agreed to do the interview, because I felt like this is going to be it, the definitive interview or whatever. Okay. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect that the next day after the interview, you were going to do that. You didn't even tell the public.
That's why he brought Craig and Rich, etc., on the podcast. He thought he could own everyone, and then had Kino as his tack dogs to back him up. Yeah, that is true. That is 100% true.
You were going to do that. And now, let's be honest here. What actually happened on that Friday show is you talked to my detractors almost the entire show. You were reading all of their contributions as they rolled in.
So this is what I was talking about, how he canceled his night stream so he could react to Stuttering Craig's video of them doing a decompression. And like I said, he would fast forward, rewind just to get the super chats, see how much they gave him, pocket watch him, and look at the questions and answers on there.
I think some of them were previously from the interview the day before. I want to be fair here. I think there were like leftovers you hadn't shouted out the day before. And then there was a ton of contributions that came in that day from my detractors. So you just sat there reading them. And okay, you're upset with me. You don't believe me. You smell shit. All right. But there's a difference between saying, well, we just did this big interview, we don't believe him, versus actually like actively participating in memes that they have about me. Your entire cast laughed ack on the show, Craig.
Phil, that's a meme. You just said it's one thing to laugh at a meme, and then you brought up a meme. Ack is a meme, Phil. Of course, Phil doesn't understand what a meme is.
Together, as if this was something funny to do to deride Phil. I was the guest on your show the day before for 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was on your show and answered hard-hitting questions. You didn't have to believe the answers.
Hold on. Did you answer?
You didn't have to believe the answers. Now, listen, there's something very important Craig is about to ask right here.
Hard-hitting questions. You didn't have to believe the answers.
Hold on. Did you answer? Because you
Oh,
didn't.
I did. Oh, indeed, I answered. You just didn't like the answers.
Phil, don't flip that on me, because you didn't. You were dishonest with us.
Listen to this.
Smelled that.
It's still an answer.
You hear that? It doesn't matter if he lied and he was dishonest. It was still an answer. Remember, this is the guy who always says, I am the most honest person. I'm not like other content creators, but he's saying, it doesn't matter if I lie, it's still an answer.
Flip that on me, because you didn't. You were dishonest with us. And we smelled that.
It's still an answer. It doesn't matter if it's honesty or not. It's still an answer.
Then let me ask you this, Phil. Will you apologize for lying
A lie is still an answer, yes.
to us? Because that's where a lot of that came from. It's like, we knew you were lying, right?
Okay.
And I gave you
Yeah, and he said he was grilled for 5 hours, but he said, yeah, I lied the whole time. Yeah. So who was wasting whose time there, Phil?
an opportunity multiple times. I remember pleading with you, Phil, just come clean on this. And the opportunity was there. And had you just come clean at that instance, everybody would move past this. So
Mhm.
I do think that, like, once again, why were we upset?
But Phil can never, ever 100% tell the truth because no matter what happens, he has to put a spin on it. For example, when he admitted he was down from the rafters, all he had to say was, "Yes, I'm down from the rafters and I still play it, but I'm trying to stop." What does Phil do? He says, "Yes, I'm down from the rafters, but I sold the account, so I don't have it anymore." He's always so close to telling the truth, then he lies. It was an answer though. Laugh my ass off, Phil Logic. Yeah. What's going on, Jewish Drift Marty?
Phil, what's the root of all this? We felt and we knew and we smelt a lie. We smelt it, right? So, and you admitted yesterday to lying to us. So that to me stings because you're not
I like how that was just like, you lied to us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely did. Like he's just like, yeah, sure, I lied, no problem.
admitted yesterday to lying to us. So that to me stings because you're not only lying to me, you're
Don't forget he told Asmund Gold he only spent 10K all in WWE Champions. Remember too, I believe it was right before that, he told Wings of Redemption at least 50,000.
lying to your audience. You're lying to
People should have reported him for saying he sold the account because that's TOS violation. Yeah, and not only that, it was so weird because he said, "Oh yeah, I'm down from the rafters, but I sold the account, but I have another account that I play on." And his whole thing was, "I needed the money, so I sold the account. But then I immediately started up another account and started spending money on it." What kind of logic is that? I need money, so I sold it, but then started doing the exact same thing on a different account. What is a lie? Phil explain, yeah.
my audience and you're lying to everybody else. So you should apologize to me and Adam and Travis and Blabs and everybody else who watched that show because they were expecting the definitive DSP interview.
Yeah, that's another point that Craig brings up here is that DSP said before the first interview, if you want all the answers, if you have any questions, you want the definitive answers, go watch this interview I do with Stuttering Craig. And then he proceeds to lie for 5 hours and says, well, it's still an answer, even if it's a lie. Don Flurgandy is a con artist and grifter skipping super chats mentioning Eric July. I don't even know who Eric July is. Laughing my ass off. I don't even know who Don Flurgandy is. I think I used one of his tweets about DSP in a DSP Weekend Review, but I don't even know who that guy is. He looks like Ron Burgundy. Oh, is he supposed to be like a parody of Ron Burgundy from Anchorman?
And what they got was lies. That's not definitive, Phil. That's the issue I had with this.
Okay, now since we're getting into the nuance of it now, let's go talk because the lies you're talking about are WWE champions. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, those lies, unlike the other lies.
Oh, but will you apologize though? Because that's
let's hold on. Let's talk. Let's do this.
Yeah. How dare you? You want me to apologize to you because I lied to you for 5 hours straight? How dare you, you son of a bitch?
All right, let's like man to man. Don't demand something from me now. Let's
Yeah. Whoa, Craig. This is out of context, dude.
talk like
I'm
men.
asking. I'm asking.
Okay.
Let's talk like man. You're an alien. You're a scumbag alien, Phil.
If in that interview, all right, I had been honest with you and completely transparent, and I said fessed up to everything, right? Immediately you would have said, "That's great. Prove it." Correct? You would have said, "Prove everything you're saying."
And we gave you the
He did do that. Phil, when he asked you about WWE Champions, he said, "Send me behind the scenes the name of your account. I won't show anyone, and I'll vouch for you that you're not down from the rafters." So in your example here, it contradicts what you just said, Phil. So you said, if I confessed, you would ask for proof. That's usually how that works, Phil.
Honest with you. And
Yeah, let's make a deal, Craig.
completely transparent. And I said fessed up to everything, right? Immediately you would have said, "That's great. Prove it." Correct? You would have said, "Prove everything you're saying."
and we gave
Yeah.
you the opportunity to.
Okay, now let's be real about this. Because
So he's like, well, that did happen, Phil. He's like, whoa. Let's be real, dude. Let me tell you my story here. See, it all happened 15 years ago when I got laid off by my helicopter company job.
I don't want you to lie to the internet about it. I want to be real about
I will
this.
not. I'm not going to lie to the internet. I'm not.
In that interview, all right, you said to me, show me evidence of what stuff you're saying, show me screen captures or whatever. And I'm going to be honest with you. No, I was never going to do that on the fly because I'm the
Even though he said during the interview that he would, now he's saying that's a lie as well.
kind of guy. I want to make sure if I'm going to do something like that, I want to make sure everything's safe. I want to make sure it's correct. I'm not going to send you something just to say it wasn't good enough. I want you to show you the definitive evidence to prove what I'm saying or whatever. Okay.
AKA, he wanted to wait a week, buy a new account or an old account, and show it to Craig.
So I'm thinking in my head during the interview, because I didn't know you were going to hit me with that. Honestly, I thought you were just going to ask me questions and I was going to answer. I didn't know you were going to say, this is your opportunity to actually clear this up. I never thought you would do that. So when
He did do that, Phil. He did do that.
I'm thinking in my head, okay, how can I prove it? How can I do this? How can I do that? I need to get this stuff together for you, right? And you would
He even said during the interview, this is your chance to clear this up and prove everyone wrong. You're just lying, Phil, or Gin Brain.
left the door open. And in fact, this is what near the end of the interview we were talking about this. If you want to, clarify everything, you can send it to me after we're done here. We even left the door open for that, correct? You remember that, right? I'm not making that up. That was correct.
Right. And to be clear, I actually have our emails pulled up.
Sure.
Which if
Uh-oh.
you have those pulled up, I think that you can read your part and I can read my part, just so everybody is on the same page and there's full clarity on all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I don't need to read them. I know exactly what they say.
Well, I think it's important just so this is us talking, but
Yeah.
we'd be ignorant to say that there's not a couple, few thousand people who once again, this is part of the story of how we got here, right? So I do think it's important because I don't want to leave any context out. So do you mind if I read our emails after just our back and forth that we had after, because I think it does provide context to what we're talking about here.
Sure.
And of course, Phil is all about context, dude. Context.
This is the email that was sent after I got off the show.
Yeah.
Because I believe there was an email then, and then I emailed you again after I'd eaten dinner about, are you available? Are you going to be checking this email box? And that was where we had left it. And then the next day you emailed me something in the morning, correct? That's the chain of events.
Okay, so I haven't it happened on I guess we talked March 16th of last year, right? So you emailed me at
So the day before St. Patrick's Day.
8:18 and said, "Hey Craig, I'm
Emboldened, smug, Phil is the most disgusting creature I've ever seen. That is true.
so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on how the show went. I really hope that it was a big benefit to you guys. If so, this may have been the only time in history that my infamy has actually helped something. I know you'll want to get back to normalcy, but I'm looking forward to hearing from you again about the possible next appearance. My viewers are telling me that they think that you and Adam were too harsh, but I disagree completely. As I
So he still thought it was really good, and he was going to be like a third chair or whatever after that interview. And he's like, no, my fans are wrong. Please let me grift off your whales, dude. I need new whales, dude.
I told you on the podcast, you are nothing but fair. But there is
You are nothing but fair. The day after his fans said, you were too hard on him, he tells Craig, you were fair.
pretty much 100% consensus that the Keemstar bit was intrusive, gave him free plugs for his own content, and took away about an hour that should have been more on topic.
Can you imagine you go on an interview and you give him 5 hours, and then the next day you send him like a Karen rant and letter like this? Like, Phil, get a life. Holy fuck, just move on. You don't have to be a Karen about every single thing in life. Stuttering Craig is not a chicken sandwich, dude.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind, but that's the vibe my viewers are sharing with me. I would likely be best for a repeat appearance to just be us, to avoid people feeling like it was a quote surprise or trick or shock me. How often do you check this email? I'm still 50-50
He wants a time frame, dude. You better respond to him in a better time frame, dude.
on showing you my champions account at this point, especially because of what Keemstar said.
It took 5 hours when a normal person could have given these answers in 1 or less. That is true.
I feel nobody would would believe you even if you vouched for me. But I respect you and still considering it, despite the fact I'm incredibly scared my info will once again leak and hurt me. So that was the email that you sent me at 8:18.
Okay, which was 5:18 my time. Well, actually, what I don't know what time zone you are, but it was
Central. So 6:18 your time.
gotcha. So it
Okay.
was right after dinner. Correct.
Okay.
Now I will clarify
So in between his streams.
what was going on. Okay. Now, did you see my show last night where I told the truth about WWE champions for the very first time? Have you seen that at all, or did you just hear about it?
I had a clip sent to me, but
Okay.
I haven't like watched the whole thing. I've watched
Okay.
like 90 seconds of it.
Yeah, I can see Phil saying that. So, Phil, is the WWE account yours? Thanks for asking, Craig. Let's put this in context. Back in the day, when I first discovered Street Fighter 2, I'm surprised it didn't start with, well, you see, it all started when I got laid off the helicopter company, dude.
In a nutshell, all right. Yeah, the account was mine. I had it for many years, and after years of harassment by my detractors, I sold.
The harassment by my detractors. You were begging like a bitch on stream, saying you're going to lose everything unless people give you money to save your house, pay your back taxes, buy your groceries. Remember, he kept saying, well, guys, if you don't give me money, I'm not going to have any groceries. I'm going to have to eat lunch meat sandwiches. And he would go on and on and on. And you know how the detractors found out it was his account? The name of the account originally was They Call Me DSP. Who the fuck else would have that name? And then it was The Gun Show. Then it was Down from the Rafters. But Phil, and it was so funny because he kept saying, well, this random person with that name just happened to have the same name as me. Nobody else would have They Call Me DSP as their username, Phil. You scumbag alien.
the account. Okay. So at the time that we're
He's lying again. He's always lying. You know when Phil's lying? When his mouth opens.
doing this interview, I don't have access to the account. So I can't prove really anything, right? All I could do is I could show you like a new account, which is the account that I had currently.
Yeah. I can show you an account that I didn't spend $100,000 on to prove that I didn't spend $100,000, dude.
If you remember, you would ask me straight
Yeah.
up
Who's the gun show? What? The gun show? You mean like actual gun shows people attend? Well, I've never been to one personally.
up in the interview. Hey, do you still play WWE Champions? Yes, I do. But it's on this new account. It's not the original account.
Remember, he said, like 2 days before this, I sold the account because I needed money. But then he said, I immediately started up a new account and spent the exact same amount of money on that account. Make that make sense?
Account that the detractors knew about and were
Yeah, who are the placeholders?
stalking me for all these years.
No, I got. I don't really care about WWE.
Okay, no.
That's how I feel like every single DSP stream when he goes off on tangents. Like, I don't fucking care, Phil. Just fucking move on.
But,
I
but
really
here's,
don't. Like I
I
don't care.
understand, but you have to understand the situation.
Mhm.
So I'm saying to you,
So this is what I don't like is a lot of people, if they interview DSP or talk to DSP, they let him go on tangents like this. The perfect host was Steve Canby in Truth Seekers. When DSP kept going on a loop or a rant or something, he shut it down immediately. That was the perfect way to deal with someone like Phil.
I'm 50-50 on sending it, but if you had said to me, yeah, okay, I'm still open to it, I was going to show you the new account. I was going to try to explain all this to you and say, this is why I can't just on a whim show you everything. It wouldn't have worked. You easily could have said, oh, you made this up. This is a bullshit new account or whatever.
So I was going to show you a new account and explain everything, but then you would say, this is bullshit, this is a new account. You said that in the same sentence there, Phil. Like, what the fuck? You just said the exact same thing that were opposite in the same sentence.
Yeah.
It's a convoluted story. It is,
Yeah.
okay? So what was your response?
Steve kicked Phil's ass for real. That is right. Yeah, DSP is one of them. You can tell a 5-minute story or summarize the story will turn into a 2-hour long, overblown, overwinded story. That is true.
To me reaching out to you saying, hey, I have the information. I'm 50-50 on it. What was your response to that?
Yeah. So, and once again, let's make sure we have all references here.
Mhm.
It's you send that March 16th at 18 p.m. So
Mhm.
it's evening time for me, right? My morning routine is I wake up and I start prepping for the show, right? So we're live at 11. I'm getting up. I'm getting prepped for everything. I have not checked this email, right? I've not
Mhm.
checked this email, and you know because I told you prior to in our original correspondence, I don't check this email. I don't check this email very often. Sometimes it'll go weeks before I check the email, right? So you know this. So
Yeah, because unlike Phil, he's actually a busy person.
so you send me that email. The following day, March 17th, I respond at 7:45. That's the next time we have any sort of correspondence.
Is that
So then
AM or PM?
That is PM.
Okay.
So it's been about 23 hours.
And you've already done your show for Friday. It's already taken
Correct.
place.
It
Okay.
is done. So here's my response to you. I said, and I felt like this was a very fair very fair assessment of things. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. I said, hey Phil, I think the show went okay yesterday. We talked about it at length on today's show as a debrief. I think we were all left. I think we all left the interview mentally exhausted and feeling incredibly frustrated
Well, that's every DSP stream. Mentally drained and frustrated.
as at the end of the day, we want what's best for you, man. The things that are laid out about everything, the WWE mobile games, the bank stuff, etc., it just doesn't make sense, man. There's too much evidence saying it's yours, and
And here comes bobblehead side Phil back.
your only evidence is just saying it's not. I feel like we gave you multiple opportunities to turn this thing around, but you just seem so dug in. Even in the face of insanely detailed evidence, you wouldn't take it. Even with Keemstar coming on, I tried to lay out the similarities you feel towards him and the way people feel about you based off of things that you've said online. It was tough. Honestly, I'm just disappointed, man. Like I said, I and we want what's best for you, man. We very much do, but you have to want what's best for yourself. When you're ready to take that step, I will gladly help you, man. Help you, man, on your journey. You deserve to get to level 2. I
Again, it's supposed to be mission 2, not level 2.
know you can do it, and that's the email that I sent to you, and I think that was very fair.
That is very fair. That's probably the fairest that anyone's ever been for DSP.
I did not lie to you and be like, "Hey, Phil, it was great. It was spectacular. Can't wait to set up number 2." As I said in the email, we were exhausted from it, and mentally tired from it, physically tired from it, and we talked about that. We talked about that on the following debrief. So had we done that debrief immediately after the show, chances are we would have said the exact same thing, probably worse, but you can see in that email we felt lied to, we felt exhausted, right? And the reality is, Phil, we were lied to, right? So and
he's bobbing his head like, yeah, I lied. Yeah, so what? Get over it.
self-admittedly, you said we were lied to, and we knew that. So
By the way, he still hasn't apologized to Stuttering Craig for lying to him for 5 hours.
naturally, when somebody lies to you and continues to lies to you, you're going to be upset.
Right.
So we were
Fair enough.
upset.
Okay. So I will confirm everything that Craig just said is true. That is correct, was what was in those emails. I know for a fact that's exactly how it transpired. Okay. So
Of course, Phil, he's reading it right in front of him.
now he said it. I didn't say it. He said it. He literally read the emails word for word. No one can say that I made this up. Okay. So we got to follow the order of events. I'm on your interview. 5 hours, hard-hitting questions. I lie to you about WWE champions. You leave the door open and say, you can send me the information after to clarify all of this. Okay? That was said directly in the interview. You agree to that, right?
Phil, you're still avoiding everything. You just admitted you lied to him. You should just say, I lied. I'm sorry. Let's move on. But no, Phil has to fight every single thing tooth and nail to the very end. And you wonder why people hate your guts, Phil. You can't take any accountability for anything you do or say.
Craig, you did say that.
Mm-hmm.
I go on my show. I say, that was a good interview. I'm okay with it. I even email you, say, I'm okay with it. I'm 50-50 about sending you the stuff. Do you check your email? You literally just publicly admitted you don't check your email. Right?
Well, in this situation, yeah, it'd been a day. Yeah.
Yeah, Craig. How dare you? It's been a day. You didn't respond to me, dude. I'm surprised he didn't like overload his DMs or emails like he did with LTG and Wings. Like, dude, please, it's 3 a.m. Please talk to me, dude.
So you ended an interview, the hottest piece of content you had ever made at
Oh my god, get your head out of your ass, Phil.
that point on side scrollers. You knew
Mhm.
all eyes were on you. You knew people were looking to see if I was going to follow up with you and send you this information. And you decided not to check your email, but instead to do a show ragging on me the next day. Is that a correct statement?
I would say that in between me ending the show, being done with the internet for the day, going to sleep, and waking up the next day and then doing the show, like Phil, as we said at the time,
He also has kids and a wife, too. An actual family, unlike Phil. Oh, sorry. His Mo wife and his cat son.
you had one opportunity to send the stuff. It wasn't there, right? You passed on that. You
Oh,
passed
whoa,
on
whoa,
it
whoa, 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 whoa. Passed on what? You just
during
admitted. You just
during
admitted the door was open to send you the information.
But Phil, earlier in the interview, you said, I was never going to send it. But then you said, I was going to send it. Now you're saying, oh, the door was open. I was going to send it. And then you're saying how I'm not going to send you down from the rafters, but I'm going to send you a new account, even though you're going to say it's a bullshit account. Wow, you can see his story just changing and changing and changing. But then again, that's what a liar does. They change the story the more they tell the story.
When I
Phil,
got it together.
during the show, Phil, during the interview,
Craig, we're
I
on
said,
an
"Send it
interview
to
and a
us right
show.
now."
Craig. We're in an interview. The idea of the interview is for me to answer your questions. It's
Right.
not stop the interview. Let me dig into documents and get you screenshots and things proving
Documents, all you have to do, Phil, is take a screenshot of your phone. Why would you have to dig into documents?
that's not what the interview was. Never once
No.
before the interview did you
Are you going to do a review of the Truth Seekers interview? Yes, that will be part of this series. So we're going to go back and look at interviews and segments and rants, and we're going to see how well it held up. We're going to go back and look how things were then, are now. So Truth Seekers interview will be part of this series eventually.
ever say that's what it was going to be. And like I said, if I'm going to send you something, it has to be sure that it's proving my point. This is a convoluted story. It's not I could just send you a screenshot. I got to try to prove
Phil, you just take a screenshot of your phone. What do you mean you have to prove it?
now that I've got a new account and it's not the old account that I sold the account. This is complicated. It's not something I can just do during the show. I was literally, to be transparent with you now, as I said,
I like how too he's saying like I have to prove all this stuff. I have to dig in the paperwork. When he just admitted he lied to him about WWE champions and he quote unquote sold the account, but he had to dig into information and paperwork to send to him, and he had to take his time. I remember watching this interview on a restream when it aired. Was it just me? Was Phil totally go Cyrex mode on Stuttering Craig? That is true. I saw that too. I agree with that.
sent you that email, I had everything ready. I told you I was 50-50. I
Wait, you just said you had to dig into paperwork and stuff, but now you say you have it ready. Make that make sense.
literally had it all ready to go. And all you had to do was check your email and say, I'm here, Phil, I'll check it. And I would have sent it to you and you would have had it. And instead of having a Friday show where all you did was beat me up all day, you would have had the Friday show saying the big reveal.
Now, keep in mind, Stutter and Craig just said when he read the emails that he didn't get the email until after the Friday show. But Phil's saying, "Oh, you should have checked it before. Just don't worry about anything else in life. Don't worry about your kids, your wife, your job, your podcast. Just worry about my email because it's gonna be the big reveal, dude." What a narcissist asshole.
DSP cleared the air. He said he was a liar, but here's the truth. But you didn't check your email. You told me.
Sorry. Like, what do you want, dude? Like, I'm sorry that I didn't check my email for 23 hours. That's not how people communicate in 2023. And I know that's how you communicate.
And also, around this time, he would tell anyone, if you want to contact me, you have to email me at darksidephil@hotmail.com. This motherfucker, this son of a bitch right here, Darkside Phil, is still rocking Hotmail. in 2026. I just want to point that out. But then again, same guy that was rocking Windows 8 until 2023 or 2024.
Communicated, but like I don't I I didn't check my email for 23 hours, and I'm sorry that I didn't check my email for 23 hours. I apologize for that. Will you apologize for lying?
I apologize for lying, but I don't want your apology that you didn't check your email.
Hair inside Phil coming out.
I want your apology for being completely disingenuous about everything that happened after the fact, after the interview.
Wait, so DSP just wanted Craig to pass his lies on as gospel to the dents? That is true. Well, I still use American Online is still around. I didn't even know that. So I can't say nothing. I didn't even know it was still around.
Apologize for lying, but I don't want your apology that you
Okay,
didn't.
let's go back a little bit further.
I'm sorry that I didn't check my email for 23 hours. That's not how people communicate in 2023. And I know that's how you communicated, but like I don't I didn't check my email for 23 hours, and I'm sorry that I didn't check my email for 23 hours. I apologize for that. Will you apologize for lying?
I apologize for lying, but I don't want your apology that you didn't check your email. I want your apology for being completely disingenuous about everything that happened after the fact, after the interview. That's what I want.
But the thing is, Phil, I don't think we were being disingenuous. Like I think we were being completely honest with how we felt.
Yeah. Out of the two of you, Phil's lying, he's telling the truth. Who out of the two of them deserves an apology? The guy who lied or the guy who told the truth? I wonder who. Who?
You know, like I said, we spent 5 hours talking to you, getting the runaround, man. And
I love that. I'm sorry I didn't check my email for 23 hours. It's so passive aggressive since email is so asinine. That is true.
felt. You know, like I said, we spent 5 hours talking to you, getting the runaround, man. And like it was not meant to be like this was once again, I go back to the definitive dark side Phil interview. And it wasn't. So I'm disappointed in that because there's things that you're telling us now you lied about. We felt it. We knew it was happening in real time. We felt like we were getting gaslit. So naturally, yes, I felt exhausted and tired.
And also, he kept saying, they're lying about me. DSP said about Stuttering Craig, they're lying about me. They're trying to pin this on me. They're trying to say I spent all this money on WWE champions. To his dents, he's saying this to his dents, saying that don't listen to them, listen to me. So he's lying to his audience, telling them, no, I'm not spending money, even though he just admitted he lied to Craig. So this proves to you his character, his Roman Catholic upbringing, as he calls it, where he's willing to lie just to protect his ass. DSP, you were disingenuous. You lied for 5 hours straight. You admitted you don't deserve an apology. That is correct.
Tired and honestly didn't want to deal with you, which is why in that email I said, look, man, we're just disappointed. Like I said, I want what's best for you. We very much do, but you have to want to help yourself. Is lying to us on stream helping yourself? No, of course not. You deserve to get to level 2. I know you can do it. Right?
Craig, what you told me in that email you sent me on Friday, basically, in other words, says we don't actually care what the truth is because I had the truth and was going to send it to you.
Phil, you just said you lied to him about it, but now it's the truth. And if he's talking about how he sold the account and he has a new account, how does that prove that he wasn't down from the rafters? Yeah, look at that disgusting smug face.
And you ignored me.
No, it's not that I ignored you. It's because I didn't check the email. And not
That's
checking the
called ignoring because
How dare you not check Darkside Karen's emails? How dare you not after 1 minute check it, dude? Don't you know how important I am, dude? Oh my god. It's Phil's truth.
No, it's not that I ignored you. It's because I didn't check the email. And not
that's
checking
called ignoring because you
No.
knew that was our line of communication. You asked me to send you the information. I was going to, and you chose not to check it. You actively ignored the way that I could have cleared my name. And then you went
It wasn't clear in your name because you admitted you lied.
on to do a show that made you tons of money defaming me on the internet. That's exactly what happened.
And you reacted to that monetizing him too.
And there's
Okay,
no way
so-
that you can ever clarify that because it's in black and white. You just
Well,
admitted it. You read it. You just admitted it publicly that you didn't check the line of communication we had that I could have cleared the whole situation.
Is this like the gotcha? Like
There's no gotcha. There's no
Okay,
gotcha.
okay.
You read it. I actually wasn't going to read
Phil,
the
Phil,
emails.
like,
You did it.
Phil, I don't apologize for not checking my
So guys, do you remember at the start of this interview when he said, "We're not going to attack Stuttering Craig. This is not drama. We're not going to go on with a gotcha moment." Look what it broke down to. He's trying to get a gotcha moment, trying to farm drama, and trying to attack Stuttering Craig. Like I've been saying, DSP lists to refer to himself as a king, which makes me think he wants to say he's a god. Because think about it, what kings of old refer to themselves as besides king? Well, if DSP could get away with it, he would call himself King of Kings.
email for 23 hours. I'm an adult with a family and kids, and honestly, I was tired of it, right?
And not a Mo wife and Jasper Kitty as a son. He'll admit he lied all while deflected and focused on points that have nothing to do with his dishonesty. The ego isn't saying that is true.
The fact that I did check my email on Friday night was fascinatingly amazing that I did that, right? That's a big dub. But I'm sorry that you felt betrayed that I didn't check my email. And once again, there's a big difference between ignoring because I didn't know the email was there in the first place. You have to know it was there to actively ignore it. I did not actively ignore your email. I didn't know it happened. So I can't ignore something that I didn't know happened.
Craig, in the interview, we ended it with, "The door is open. You can send me the information."
Mm-hmm.
And it's a narcissist thing where he's like, "Okay, Craig, you better check your email every single hour on the dot at the top of the hour, dude, because I'm that important. I pioneered TikTok and food vlogs and gaming and co-op gaming and the internet. I was around when Ronald Reagan got shot, even though I wasn't born yet. And I went to Pete Subs 10 years before I was even Pete Subs, and I was born." Oh my god, Phil, I've never seen anyone whose head is so far up his ass than DSP.
So you didn't know it happened. Do you
It's crazy how Phil's mind works, that is true.
need to have a bomb go off when someone sends you the
He ignored it because the world revolves around Phil and Craig should have been checking the email every 5 minutes. According to Phil, yeah.
thing you directly asked for? Would you not even in a moment think, "Hey, maybe he's going to contact me today about this and I should check," because how else am I going to send you these documents anyway, by the way? It has to be an email attachment, right? I can't just call you and give it to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. He also put Craig's channel into the stratosphere.
I didn't have your Discord or anything, right? We were doing it through some other streaming client. So I had to send you an email. All right.
Well,
Now,
Phil,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. We
Hold
can
on,
talk about this for the rest of the
real
show.
quick, allow me to kind of
One more, and then I want to move on because this
sure,
is
sure,
taking,
sure,
you know,
sure.
Okay, so this is where it's going to get really, really juicy and toxic. Very, very toxic.
And that's fine. I'm just going based off of our track record of emailing back and forth. Okay, I'm just looking at how we emailed back and forth leading up to this thing,
Mhm.
right? There's pretty much at least a day between every correspondence that we had, right? Almost every single time there's at least a day between our correspondence. So based off of our track record of corresponding with each other, I'm not gonna go. Like I said, I'm
Craig, this is
exhausted,
a
bro.
really bad cope, bro. This is
Oh, Phil of all people saying this, and I hate it when he says bro. Oh my god, Phil. Let's hear that again.
I'm not gonna go. Like I said, I'm
Craig, this is a
exhausted, bro.
really bad cope, bro. This is really bad. You're saying
No.
we just ended the interview. You said the door is open. Send me the information, and then you just say, "Well, I'm just not going to check for the information." That's a bad cope. Previously, our correspondence was
Now, the weird part is Phil's like, "Oh, you never checked your email. Phil, you never sent it." So he's going on this big tirade that, oh, he never checked it. He should have checked it every 5 minutes or every so often. But Phil, you never sent it. So there was nothing for him to see. You never sent anything, and you said, "I had no intention of ever sending anything." So what was he supposed to look for when you didn't send anything? Okay, can you please buy me a new monitor because this made me punch my screen? No, DSP, you're the one coping because someone didn't read your little email instantly when you sent it. Yeah.
never a reason for you to check right away. Now you had a reason and you didn't. Instead,
But you never sent it. You said you never would.
And you actually did the opposite.
This is insane. This is levels of delusion I've never seen. How dare you not check the email for the thing I never sent and never will? How dare you, Craig? How dare you put your family and your job above that?
Instead of giving me the fair shake, but see if I was going to send you stuff, you went on a show defaming me the entire next day. That's
so
the
Phil-
worst situation possible for you, but you
I
didn't
have
care.
Phil, you got me. I didn't check my email. I'm sorry. Hey, with that said, why do you need me? If you want to put this out there, like you have an X account.
It's delusional, but it's also Phil finding a single sticking point to deflect from being the one in the wrong. Yeah, that's the narcissism in him.
You have a Twitter account. You have social media. You have a YouTube community tab. You can post all this stuff available like literally right now. You said you have it pulled up. Like you had all this stuff available. It's still got to be on your computer somewhere.
Is this your gotcha moment? You're gonna try to
Well,
get me to post my shit on the internet?
No, Phil. I'm saying is you don't need me. You never did need me, right?
I
And
needed. That's actually untrue, because what you don't understand, Craig, because again you didn't know this, is that any time that I try to defend myself, the detractors move the goalposts.
Now, I want to point out, he's saying, oh, he needed Craig to clear his name on WWE Champions. But 2 days before this, he confessed to playing WWE Champions and being down from the rafters after watching a June the King documentary. So how did you need Stuttering Craig when you admitted you were down from the rafters without him being there? Make that make sense.
It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a little innocuous thing that doesn't matter at all. It could be a big, full-blown lie that I've been doing for years. Whenever
Wait, well, what? It could be a full-blown lie I've been doing for years. That sounds very specific, like WWE Champion, Save the House. A lot of things that could be mentioning a full-blown lie that I've been doing for years.
the detractors move the goalposts. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a little innocuous thing that doesn't matter at all. It could be a big, full-blown lie that I've been doing for years. Whenever I try to do something,
So what would, besides WWE Champions, what would be the full-blown lie he's been doing for years? I mean, there is a lot of lies he's been doing, but it's weird that he said full-blown lie. He'd rather make a point and get a fake W, even if it means he looks like a stubborn asshole. That is true.
all right, they move the goalposts. Right now, I could post all the information up and they would say, that's fake. That's not true. So it doesn't matter what I post or what I don't. Now, in the case of you, you had presented yourself as a neutral third party. You were going to be someone who was going to do this interview and be fair, and then you were going to judge for yourself, which actually seems like that's what happened, except you didn't actually give me the opportunity to send you the information to clear my name and tell you what really was going on. Now,
you always had
whether
the
or not
opportunity.
you
I'm
checked your
sorry,
email or not, it's not a big deal.
Sorry.
It's not a big deal that you didn't check your email, but he just went on a rant about how he should have checked his email and he demanded an apology. But remember, guys, it's not a big deal. It's nothing, dudes.
I'm sorry I didn't check my email, and I would like to take this moment to apologize to you and apologize to all of your champions, and especially all the detractors for not checking my email for 23 hours. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's move on
Oh, I love the sarcasm there.
from the email, because this is going to be so boring if we keep talking about this. And I know that your time is valuable. You said you could only be here for about 90 minutes, right? So probably
Yeah,
another 20
I got
minutes or
about
so.
another 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. The next day you do a show. The entire show
Yeah, all your champions, yeah, your Special Olympic champions.
you're ragging on me, saying you didn't believe me at all.
Which,
You laugh. Okay, go ahead.
Which you lied. Yeah, he didn't believe you because you lied.
which you didn't give us reason to.
Okay,
Which you admitted to yesterday.
fair enough. You laughed with my detractors. You did all the memes. You got a whole bunch of detractor contributions, correct? That did happen.
Sure.
Okay. Did you continue to do content based on me after this at all?
Not especially. You know, I think there was a. I don't remember the context of it, but I remember seeing you said something about us, and I was just kind of like done with it. And I think I went live.
I think that was the Monetize the Hate stream.
And
Where you talk about doing like a detractor Hall of Fame or concert or festival or something like that.
I did what was called a monetize the hater stream.
Oh, there it is.
And but I don't remember the context of it, but I remember being like I was done. with it, right? That's the thing, Phil. You got to understand. Like, we've done almost 400 episodes of Side Scrollers, right? Your interview was 1 day, right? Now, once again, was it a chapter of the show? Yes, 100%. Do we appreciate it? Yes, 100%. But like, we were done. We've turned the page. Just like I don't watch your stuff on a day-to-day basis, just like you don't watch our stuff on a day-to-day basis. I have too much going on to worry about what somebody else is doing online, right? So, you get brought up occasionally, but it's just part of the Side Scrollers chapter in our book at this point.
And also, DSP is complaining that he did content on him after this, but at the same time, DSP kept mentioning him and doing content on him and taking shots at him. And this is what DSP does: is anyone that says anything about him, it's horrible. They're punching down. If he says anything about anyone else, oh, it's funny, it's a joke. If you don't laugh at it, then you're mentally retarded. Because Phil, he can't even dish it out. He can barely say things that come out of his mouth about people, but he cannot take it at all. And this proves that he's had people handholding him and kissing his butt all his life. If anyone is a guy out there and you had a brother or you're a sister or you're a girl that had a sister or whatever, your sibling, they bust your chops all the time. They humble you. So they call you out on your shit, even a best friend. If you're fucking up, they're like, bro, what are you doing? You're fucking up. And they'll bust your chops about that. Bill never had that. He had a pampered, entitled, sheltered life. If you think about his mom combing his hair till he's 17, his dad getting him a job at the helicopter company, his chat holding his hand, Rambo driving him around, OJ and what is his name? Follow the Pack. All of them doing all the Project 7 stuff. This man has never done anything on his own. Look at Darziak. Look at all the stuff Darziak did for him. He's never done anything on his own. He is a 44-year-old man who has never done any single thing by himself. Oh, it was I was talking about Project 7. Like, it was Rambo, Howard, and OJ, and Respect the Pack. That was it. Respect the Pack.
Part of the
Who did all the editing and stuff. Darziak literally worked full-time for Bill and got paid slave wages. Yeah, when he actually got paid.
lore, just like Side Scrollers is a part of yours.
That is wild. Your mom combing your hair till you're 17. You know what the really wild part after that is? So after he turned 18, his mom was no longer combing his hair. And he said, it's too much maintenance. So that's when he shaved his head. That's when he went with the bald look. Because it was too much maintenance. That tells you how much of a douchebag he is.
So,
Seems like Roy Barnes has taken over a discount Darziak. I wonder if that's a sock count for somebody else. Just saying.
so yeah, I was pissed. So I went live and honestly, I will like to give credit to to my boy Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers for his monetize the hater thing. So yeah, I think I went live with a monetize the hater thing and just kind of railed for a little bit because I was tired. I don't remember the context of it. I was just tired of hearing you talk about us. So
Oh, I know Royal Barnes has been there because he was doing he was one of the big supporters for DSP Throwback when he would do his like retro react to his own gameplay, which is the biggest douchebag move I've ever seen. He would wail out on DSP Throwback.
it is what it is. Do I regret it? Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Phil reeled Darziak back in. Remember when Darziak tried to quit and Phil said the trolls would go harder at him if he did? I haven't. Well, that's the funny thing is I haven't seen any trolls go after Darziak. A lot of them are glad that he's gone and Phil's like failing on his own again.
Kinda, but at the same time, it's just part of what it is.
Okay. All right. I wanted to hear that straight from your mouth that this happened because I was, the truth is, Craig, I don't even know because, like you said, I don't watch your content, so I actually don't.
I don't watch your content, but I cancel entire night streams so I could react to your content.
Know the truth of what happens and what doesn't happen. I just hear people saying, "Are you aware that right now Craig has a stream called Monetize the Haters?"
Yeah, he also weaponized the trolling against all his dents. So the big thing is DSP has put this out in the dent's head. There's an imaginary war. The dents versus the detractors. And they're fighting. over and over. And you have to support me, dude. You have to support me to defeat the trolls. Otherwise, if you don't give me money, the trolls will win, dude. And he's beaten that over and over in their heads. When the fact of the matter is, we don't care. If he gets money, we laugh at him because we know if he gets $1,000 in one stream, the next day he has low support. He'll be like, "What's going on, guys? You gave me all that money yesterday. Why don't you give me that money today?" And as soon as he gets money, he spends money. I think Darzak has gotten Phil win accept them back since he scorched Earth in DM leagues. Plus, Phil has been struggling with DS2 mods. Darzak would have figured that out. That is true.
He's making money off of your detractors. He's saying that he wants to be on your show. I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, you know, you're right. You're right. That's what it was. You were live. That's right. You were live, and I think you were talking shit about us or something along the lines, and talking about how bad we were to you, and I was like, and this was another thing. I was like, look, I will come on your show right now and do exactly what we're doing. And this was, I don't even know how long ago this was. It was just like, let's just get done with this. And as I've said at the start of this, like, I reached out to you multiple times to do exactly this, to just get through this shit. And I told you, like, I don't care if it's on our channel or.
With how Piggy was treating Darzak and not paying him on time, I think it's better for him. He doesn't need that abuse from him. I agree with that. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Like, nobody deserves to get treated like that. But then again, Darzak is a crazy son of a bitch. If you read those DMs, it's almost like he was trying to court DSP. He was trying to date him. He's trying to fuck him. Because the things he would say and do for him and buying him stuff, like he's trying to win his favor, you knew Darzak probably tried to fuck Phil.
On your channel or some other channel, right? Let's just do it. So I was actually glad that you reached out because, this is, I don't think about you a whole lot, Phil, except for when people bring you up to me. And,
Fair enough.
And you're upset that people are like, giving super chats because, well, maybe.
Yeah, because that's his money, dude. Anyone gives money to any detractors, that's Phil's money. He deserves it, dude.
Maybe they enjoyed what we do, right? And I'm not going to say like.
Again, body language, arms crossed, looking at chat to see how things are going over.
Like, some people were just excited to see that the interview was done. They were congratulating us for doing the interview.
They don't enjoy what you do. They enjoyed that you were bullying me.
It's not bullying, it's telling the truth. You're a scumbag, and people deserve to hear the truth about you. Did you see the art piece Darzak commissioned where Phil is a knight and Darzak is yes. Unfortunately, I saw that. Like, I'm telling you, if anyone's seen the movie Single White Female, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the same thing with Raw Phil now. He needs Raw Phil where his views and his money, yeah. He always needs a boogeyman too. Whether it be Tevin, whether it be Duty Streams, whether it be Raw Phil. He needs a figurehead for the Dents to rally against so that they give him money. Single White Female is probably more like OIC. Well, that is true. OIC even transitioned into a woman, apparently, allegedly, just so they have a chance at fucking Phil.
That's what it was. You were doing a whole stream, monetize the haters, and you were making money off of making fun of me, which is what everyone else does too.
Phil, why was I live? Because you were talking shit about us.
Yeah, so people said to Phil, "Oh, Stuttering Craig is starting shit again," just like trying to bait him. And then DSP went off and started talking shit about Stuttering Craig. Then Stuttering Craig started up the stream that was the monetize the hate to respond to what DSP said on his stream.
So, okay, now on my stream, was I sitting there saying, "Hey, Craig haters, come on the stream and dump on Craig, and let's accept all the donations for everyone who doesn't like Craig. Let's talk about all Craig's dirty laundry on my stream today." Did I ever do that, Craig?
So I don't know. I don't watch your stuff, but you're telling me
no. I never did that, not once. The only gripes I ever had with you was that how you behaved after the interview.
That changed in the last few years, where he said they were rude to them. It was an ambush. They were bad to him. It was a ambush. All that stuff.
That's literally it. That's the only problem I have with you. I don't have a problem with anything before or during the interview. It was the fact you left the door open for me to contact you. You ignored that line of contact. You did a harmful show.
Didn't ignore.
Because you know what? Now Now I got to talk about this publicly. All right. Are you aware that because you didn't give me the chance to defend myself after the interview, you did a bullying show where you ragged on me and I wasn't there to defend myself against any of that? Do you know how that hurt me and my viewers and my content? Probably don't.
Hold on. Let me
Yeah, you're what, 10 people, which are probably like 2 people in their socks.
just talk about this real quick. Europe, and by the way, this is something that I do want to talk about. You were upset that we went live and talked about this, and you were pissed that you weren't there to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You did a decompression show literally immediately after. You did a decompression show about Keemstar last week, and he wasn't there to defend himself. You did the exact same thing that we do, Phil. You
Whoa,
did a
whoa, whoa, whoa,
decompression-
Well, this is the difference, dude. When the king does it, it's great. It's awesome. It's the greatest thing on earth. If someone else does the exact same thing, it's horrible. They're punching down. It's absolute hypocrisy. He's a hypocrite. He's a loser. DSP didn't like that Craig said, I don't watch your stuff. Yeah. Because he's like, how dare you? My stuff is legendary. I was the first one to do this, dude. I invented talking to a microphone, dude.
whoa. You just proved you don't watch my decompression shows.
I
You
don't.
just proved it.
He's like, you don't watch it. No, I don't.
The decompression shows have nothing to do with talking about and ragging on the guest that just appeared.
So you,
In
you
fact,
never, you
last
never
week
talk
with
about what
Keem-
just happened.
Last week
You
with
never-
It's positive, meaningful content, dude.
Keem, I had a whole stream where I said, we are not going to talk bad about this man. Instead, we're just going to talk about
Yeah, because he sucked your dick, Phil. If he would have been pushing back or criticizing you, you would have been angry and telling him off on the decompression stream because you can't do it to anyone's face.
the future, building bridges and things like that. We didn't say one negative word about Keem. I didn't accept negative contributions. I told my audience, do not contribute and insult Keem. And they
Okay.
didn't,
That's a lie they did.
because
Fine.
that's wrong.
So
That's
you-
capitalizing on an already bad situation. Because now I'm going to talk, Craig. Please let me speak, okay?
go crazy.
After
Phil.
the interview, I had to cancel a whole fucking show that I had planned that was called DSP Asks It. I had guests lined up to be on.
You ruined my business, dude. How dare you? That was slander, dude. You're lucky I don't sue you after I win the lottery, dude.
On the show that I was going to interview. It was a big project that I had lined up for my React channel. I had to cancel it because the guest said, well, after the side scroller's appearance, they really dumped on you. It's not the interview we had.
Yeah, that's a big X to doubt. I doubt anyone said, wow, you look bad on the Side Scrollers interview because you lied for 5 hours straight. I'm not being on your show, dude. You can't interview me. That never happened at all. This is Phil coping and seething, trying to get Stuttering Craig to apologize.
You have issue with. It's the fact that they dumped on you. So now literally everyone who saw your interview thinks you're an asshole.
Well, they thought you were an asshole before the interview, too.
Because of that, we're canceling. So I had to cancel the whole show. My followers came out and said, we didn't mind the
Who's
interview.
telling you that?
I want to point out, too, he had interviews after this as well. He had, like, June the King, and he had some, Tolamo or whatever his name is, the guy that called out Derek. So he had guests after this.
I'm
Who's
not
telling
done
you
yet. I'm not done yet.
that?
Let me
Okay.
finish.
Okay.
After the interview, my followers said, we don't care about the interview. We care that they ragged on you after. Now it makes you look like an asshole. Now that makes us look like an asshole.
No, they never said that. So, Phil, you in your own words said, in your decompression, your audience was telling you they didn't like it. They were treating you like shit. And this is what Phil does. If 99% are saying, oh, it was fair, and 1% said, oh, it was horrible, he'll listen to the 1% because they agree with him, because it's part of his narrative, and ignore the 99%.
We all want to be your fans, but
Yes, his followers, maybe one lurper or den said it.
how can we do it when the entire interview hates you now? Right? And you don't understand what you thought you were doing was
Yes, exactly. Cherry pick and Phil. He focused on the one comment that suits his narrative. There can be 100 people in the chat, 99 people will say no, one person will say yes, and then he'll choose that one person says yes just because it agrees with his narrative.
decompression. Let's just be honest. But what you did is you gave more avenue for the people who already hated me to hate more. All you did was you gave a public grandstanding spectacle to my detractors. And the worst part about it, Craig, you publicly monetized it. You monetized bullying.
Now, keep in mind, too, what did DSP do earlier this year on April Fool's? He did an entire stream, quote unquote, in his own words, bullying LTG, and P.S., fuck you, LTG, and also bullying Wings of Redemption on the night stream and monetizing it. So, yeah, and also the RTU React, the LTG React, when he went towards Ethan Ralph and Cog and all these other people. But remember, dudes, he's not like that.
That's the problem with what you did the day after.
DSP loves doing this thing where he'll say words like we when there's never really a we involved. I wonder what watching some of his old DSP tries with Panda Lee and he'd be saying, who's we? What we? You know what? I just got an idea. Not only do we start this series where we do DSP Revisited, we look at different moments. What if we do a marathon where DSP tries it, starting from the start and going all the, well, not all the way, but some of the way forward. We'll have to break it up in different days because there's a lot of DSP tries it. Oh my god, if I don't know if I wanted to do that. I just realized he did 2 shower videos. I don't want to relive those, but we'll see what people want.
After. You hurt my business, you hurt my followers, you hurt me. You owe me an apology for that. I don't care about you not checking the interview. The email. I care about the fact that you not.
Yeah, how dare you, dude? You made Jade cry and Slayer, and Derek is probably jerking off and crying at the same time, dude. You need to apologize to Jade especially.
Not once, but then again later down the
And you have to include the Ludes DSP tries. Oh yeah, for sure. Especially the Noodle parody one. I love those videos.
line. Monetized hate against me. I literally never monetized hate against you ever. Ever.
I'm fine with whatever as long as I don't gotta watch Manny. Well, in the earlier DSP tries it, when he did the food, it wasn't as bad as current day. And then he also did the DSP tries it where it's different stuff where you didn't see it. So he did like energy drinks, he did like trying out controllers and all these other stuff. So it's not just food in the early days for DSP tries it. Bill's very passive aggressive. He's terrified of actual conflict, lives off plausible deniability. That's why he's so evasive in interviews and projects all his opinions onto followers. That is true. Can we include a lip smacking filter, or would that mute half the video? That is a good idea, but yeah, that might mute half the video. I'll have to look into that. A good idea though.
Sure about that, Phil? You've never once monetized your hate against us? You never talked poorly about side scrollers?
Oh, I absolutely talked poorly about you, but I certainly didn't have entire shows based around it, inviting all of your detractors, because you want to know something?
Phil, you had your whole react to their decompression.
Craig, they contacted me about this show. They said, here's all the dirt on Craig. And you want to know what I told them? This is the truth, Craig. I said, fuck you.
Also, around this time, he said he had dirt on Craig and Adam that was vicious and could destroy their whole careers. He never said what that was, and he also just dropped it and responded like he never said it at all.
Said, I'm not going to do that.
You could use AI to mute the smacking and put speech bubbles in comic book. Smack, slurp, smack. Huh. I'll have to look into that. That sounds really cool though, actually. That would be very interesting for like older DSP tries it. I like that idea though.
Yeah, I'm better than that. I'm not going to talk about Craig's dirty laundry because that's not what this is about. I could have easily been doing that all along. Everyone has skeletons in the closet. We all know this, but I'm never going to be like that. I want to.
Yeah, we saw your skeletons in the closet, your retro game collection that proved that you did bankruptcy fraud and filled out those forms incorrectly.
Build bridges. I don't want to burn them. All right. At the end of this conversation today, I don't want to be at your throat. I don't want you to hate me. I just want us to be at peace. Even if we never speak again, I just want us to be at peace. I'm tired of this internet drama bullshit. But you hurt me bad with your behavior after that interview, and I want you to understand how bad it was for me. I had to hide
Yeah. You don't understand, dude. I lied to you for 5 hours, and then you made a video where you made money off of me. How dare you, dude?
for a year. And now to just show you, Craig, how different it could have been. Did you see my appearance on Kino Casino recently?
Oh, God. Oh, here we go. Smug side Phil. He's gonna talk about his redemption and his resurgence and how people love him now.
And how different
No.
that went?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Kino Casino is a show over on Kick. They had me on. We joked about everything. We joked about WWE champions ever. We made a big laugh about it. But they also treated me like a respectful human. They didn't monetize hate against me. We
Oh my God. How poorly has that aged? Oh, Phil. Phil. They monetized you so much and they did not treat you like a human. They buddy trolled you and gassed you up. Oh, Phil.
had fun conversation. We watched video clips. We laughed. You want to know what it was? I was a guest on their show. Like I was supposed to be a guest on your show.
Phil, you were their version of the Whack Pack. You were Beetlejuice. They were using you like a freak show act. Wait, is this the interview before the Kino RTU reactor after? I think it's after. I want to say it's after because I think that was the first crossover. I could be wrong about that. It is entirely self-inflicted, what a complete alien, poor, butt-hurt ego boy. That is true. I remember, people like him now, Craig.
What never happened because we did the interview. You want to know what happened? Public opinion has changed, Craig.
Oh, here we
You may not
go.
realize this? Right now, people
This
like
is-
me.
This
For
is
the
Well, I gotta hear that again. People like me, Craig. Don't you understand this?
has changed, Craig. You may not realize this. Right now, people
this
like
is-
me
this
for the
is
first time in
DSP
ages.
redemption arc, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because
So-
they gave me a chance. Because they didn't
Even Craig is checked out. He's like, yeah, okay. Okay, look at him. His head is down. He's like, yeah, fuck off, Phil. He said the thing, yeah. I think this is after. Well, remember, DSP memory holds everything. So if it didn't happen within 5 minutes, he memory holds it.
rag on me. They didn't bully me. They were bullying me. But once I personally talked to them nicely and say, hey, just have me as a guest, they, whoa, what the hell? So everything they say about you is actually isn't true. Well, not
Oh my god, this age like milk in the sun.
all of it. But the thing is that being treated kindly instead of
Yeah, people love me. They love me, dude. They really, really love me now.
being bullied and being monetizing the bullying led me to a redemption arc where now I'm finally fessing up to all the stuff I've done wrong, and it's all
Yeah, now that people like me, I'm now fessing up to all the lies and how I scam people. What a great guy right there.
changing for the better, right? That
Phil, you
could have
had-
happened with your interview, but that's
ha-
not
no,
what
no,
you
no, no.
did,
We gave you an opportunity to fess up during the interview, Phil.
which I
That's the
couldn't
thing.
do because I couldn't prove it during the interview. I had to get the information together, and I
You could admitted that you were down from the rafters, but you lied, Phil, for 5 hours.
was going to do that, and you didn't give me the opportunity.
Well, no. Did you have any of that information available when you talked about this yesterday? All you did was you just talked. That's it. So all you
That's
needed
right.
to do 18 months ago was just talk, just like you did yesterday on your show.
No,
Right?
Well, I don't get this point. If this is after RTU React, how can it be sit there and say Craig was the one monetizing hate? So DSP's response to the RTU doc was that he was finally getting justice, finally getting revenge. So he didn't see it as monetizing the hate. He saw it as him standing up to RTU because year after year he was talking about him and he never said anything. So he believes because it was quote unquote justice that it was not bullying or monetizing hate.
Whoa.
Be honest about it.
Now you're moving the goalpost. So first it was the only way anyone was going to believe you is if you sent me all the documentation during the show.
Well,
Now
no,
you're
okay.
saying
Yeah, so you couldn't change it.
I could have
give you
just
this.
said whatever.
I'll give you this. But I will
What a twisted individual, that is true.
give you that, right? Documentation would have helped your case 100%. With that said, Phil, like just you saying, yeah, I played WWE champions. Yeah. My name was this, whatever it was, right? And just saying those things, yeah, absolutely. That would have gone so far, right? And I feel like we extend
Phil being hypocritical, no. Yeah, Phil is definitely never hypocritical.
Extended the olive branch many times during that interview, right? And once again, you left that interview feeling good. Your point of contention is that after the show, we spoke honestly about our frustrations. Once again, why were we frustrated, Phil? Because we felt lied to, which was validated yesterday, literally yesterday. Later on, did I do a monetize the hater stream? 100%. Why? Because you were talking shit about me, right? We've never gone out of our way to go off and say, hey, it's time to dump on Phil because it's fun to dump on Phil, right? We dumped because we were pissed at the time. The result of the interview, we felt lied to, once again, validated, and you were talking shit. So naturally, it was like, hey, and the idea of going live there was, let's go on Phil's show and hash it out like we're doing now. So look, Phil, I mean this.
Oh, this is one of the best lines ever. So this is the second best part of this interview. So get ready for this, because this is something every single detractor has wanted to say to Phil for a very long time.
Out like we're doing now. So look, Phil, I mean this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you were hurt. I'm sorry that your community was hurt. And I'm sorry that you felt that way for a long time. That's why I'm on this show. I want to help you close the door with this chapter, right? I'm not your enemy. In fact, I've been your biggest champion. I've gone out of your way, as in that email. I want to help
Just
you
wait for
get
it.
to level 2, whatever that looks like, right? I've said that continuously in every single email correspondence we've had. I've said, hey, I want to let you know, let's get together, let's hash this out, let's move forward, right? Every single time, even when it comes to inviting
DSP's
you
not
on the
even paying
show,
attention.
our 1 year anniversary. Hey, Phil, come on the show. Nothing serious. Let's just come on. It'd be fun. People would have it on. Hey, Phil, do you want Street Fighter 6 is coming out? You want to help hash this out? Let's just hash it out. Let's talk it out. It'd be a great way to build a bridge, which once again, that's something that you want to do. I listen. If we want to go with the build a bridge metaphor, I put down lots of wood over the last 18 months.
Oh, DSP definitely want wood from a man in his ass.
Trying to build a bridge, and every single time the email wasn't responded to, or maybe you didn't check your email. I don't know, right? So
Oh, I did
who
check
knows?
the email. It's just there's no way I'm going to be playing Street Fighter.
Oh, come on, Craig. Say the line. Say the line, Craig.
The guy who doesn't play Street Fighter, where I'm not going to benefit from it whatsoever. You will,
But don't
because
you
you're going to get
understand?
another boost from my appearance on your show playing Street Fighter.
But Phil, the whole point of a collab is to work together. So you get exposed to his audience gets exposed to you. It's the crossover.
Phil,
I'm not
we
going to get a
could've done
boost from that.
Phil, we could have done it on your channel. That's the thing. You didn't even respond. But isn't that the fun of it? The idea that you play Street Fighter 6, you lay into me for fucking 9 matches, you destroy me, you're the definitive champ, and all of a sudden the king is back.
Nobody cares
Right.
about that, Craig. No one cares about you playing
He still doesn't understand collabs.
Street Fighter.
Like,
What are you
Phil,
talking about?
But they care about us getting together, and Street Fighter is the conduit to do that. That's what I'm getting at. Move past the idea of Street Fighter 6, Phil. It's bigger than Street Fighter 6. The idea was just get together.
Can you imagine if Stuttering Craig actually beat him in Street Fighter?
Oh my goodness. All right.
Like,
Well, here's the thing. You just apologized to me because I was
Okay, that wasn't the line that's coming up. I thought it was there. There's still a line that's coming up, second best part of the video.
hurt. I want you to apologize to me because you did it, because you know it was wrong.
I don't think it was wrong because like I said, yesterday, as you said yesterday, you lied
He really wants that apology. He has an apology fetish.
to us.
Mhm.
You lied to us. We felt that lie. We knew it was a lie. Look, was it reactionary? 100%. I'll say yes. It was wrong in that it was reactionary with the monetize the hate stream, right? That was a reactionary thing. Am I proud of it? No, right? And you know what, Phil? I'm going to do you one better.
And so now Craig is going to offer to give all the money he made on that stream to charity. And DSP thinks, why would you do that, dude? That's not what this is about. When DSP in reality thinks all the money he made on that monetize the hate stream is actually his. And I guarantee if Craig said, well, I'll give you all the money, he would be like, okay, dude, sure. Charity? No, dude.
Give me a charity of your choice. Give me a charity of your choice. I will donate that day on that stream. We made $633.08. I will donate $633.08
Dude, that's like 2.5 days of goals, dude.
to a charity of your choice.
No, he has a fetish, White Knights, where you get down and grovel for his forgiveness. That is true. Charity, Burnell, LLC.
Craig,
If that will help close the book.
if you actually cared about anything that you're saying right now, you already would have donated that money. So you can do with it however you want. But the fact is, you have done absolutely nothing in this appearance to show any kind of responsibility or remorse for the thing
Responsibility and remorse. You lied to them for 5 hours, Phil.
that you
And you said, oh, it doesn't matter if I lied, it was still an answer.
did regarding me, my community, or my reputation after the interview. And you
Reputation. Your shit reputation was shit before and it was shit after.
publicly admitted you didn't check the avenue that you could have gotten actual evidence of what I was going to tell you about the truth. So
I did not check the email.
So I don't really know I can help you anymore at this point. You know, it's like I've been saying to everyone recently. What's happened in the last month and a half is pretty remarkable. All right. Basically, everyone for the last like 10 years who really like messed with me and cheated on me, it's kind of all coming back. Karma, you know. Now, in your case,
Oh, Phil, why did you say that? Karma's coming around because we knew what happened the next year when Kino Casino dumped in. Oh, sorry. DSP King snaked them, and he was a puppet master, and he planned everything. Karma came around for him.
you're definitely not egregious. Okay. I want you to understand something. After today, I have no grudge against you whatsoever.
Craig, don't need your help, DSP. You're beneath Craig. That is true.
All right. I'm going to act like none of this ever happened. Really. I mean it too. I'm going to act like none of this ever happened.
That's a lie. He's still whining and complaining about it in 2026.
We're just going to move on with our life. You're going in one direction.
This entire interview is Phil trying to ego check and turn everything around on Craig and position himself as morally superior. Yeah, that's pretty much every DSP interview.
I'm going in another direction. All right. But you have to understand that, like, when you have a platform, you have a responsibility to be responsible with that platform. If you were going to have the big definitive Dark Side Phil interview, and even if you thought I had
You can tell, like, Craig is, like, mentally checking out. He's like, I've had enough of this. I'm getting to my breaking point. I can't take this motherfucker anymore.
lied the entire interview, which I did about WWE champions. That's what I lied about. Okay.
You lied about everything, Phil.
You still have a responsibility after the fact to follow up. That's what you didn't do. You actually didn't do the most important.
Yeah, how dare you not check my email every 5 minutes, Craig? How dare you, you son of a bitch? You have a responsibility to your community to check your email, dude.
Important part. What you did was the equivalent of if, let's say, Barbara Walters was going to interview a big prominent person. I don't know. We're going to make this up. Barbara Walters was interviewing Donald Trump, okay? And she does an interview with Donald Trump, and she hits him with all the hard-hitting questions, and he answers with bluster and everything. And a lot of people don't believe Donald Trump or whatever. The next day, she goes on a public appearance where she literally says, I don't believe a word Donald Trump said. He's an asshole.
A lot of reporters and interviewers do this, Phil. This is a common thing.
He's a piece of shit. I don't like his hair. I don't like this.
Says the man who did not want to ban a PDF file because it would give the detractors a win. That is true.
And then as she was doing
Every time Craig suggests that he was just trying to help Phil, Phil starts talking down on Craig and acting like he's the one who helped Craig, yeah.
it,
Well, it's the same thing with Wings of Redemption. He's like, I'm trying to help Wings. I'm trying to save his life, dude. I'm going to be his life coach.
all the sponsors of Democratic causes are sending money to the show because, oh, this is great. She's ragging on Donald Trump, who we don't like. That's literally what you did. That's not integrity. That's bullying for profit. All right.
Phil.
And the fact that you can't admit that you did this, you say you're sorry it hurt me, but you're not sorry you did it.
Yeah, admit it, Craig. You didn't check the email.
That just it speaks to your character. I didn't have to do anything.
Okay, here we go. This is the line I was talking about, the second best moment of the interview.
Not sorry you did it. That just it speaks to your character. I didn't have to do anything.
Here
You
we go.
literally just did it to yourself.
And look at Craig. He's smiling because he knows exactly what he's going to say next when you talk about his character.
On the show. And that's
Phil.
the thing. I didn't have to monetize hate against you at all. You did it to yourself. And I'm
This
not going to
happened-
monetize hate against you ever. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a decompression stream after this where we shit on you at all. because I don't have anything else to say once you're off this show. It's done. You did it.
So
You did it yourself, my friend.
Just to be clear, so when Barbara Walters, who's dead, interviews Donald Trump, I
Yep.
think she's whatever. When
She
interviewed-
passed away. Rest in peace. She
Okay.
was a great interview.
So
Great interview, but I just use her as an example as a bad interviewer.
so she has this interview with Donald Trump. Is she not allowed to talk about it afterwards?
Oh, she could talk about it, but she's not. Oh, she's not allowed to monetize hatred toward the person she just interviewed, and here's why.
But in your example, she's saying her personal feelings. So you're saying nobody can give their personal feelings after they interview someone.
Here's why. No. Let me clarify why. Because if you're the interviewer, you're supposed to be fair and impartial, correct? During the interview.
Were we not?
You were during the interview.
Okay.
But then, if that interviewer immediately discredits the person they just interviewed, there's not one fucking person who's going to go back and watch the interview with a fair take in a
I've never seen anyone who does as many analogies as DSP and fucks them up in every single analogy.
subjective glance at it and say, okay, so I will judge for myself if he told the truth. Okay. No one who watched the interview gave me that shot because you literally after the interview said, he's a bold-faced piece of shit liar. Let's laugh at him with his detractors. Ha 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 ha. Ack, 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 ack. Okay. So your interview originally was meant to be fair and balanced, and it became a hit piece because of what you did after. And I don't think you've ever really consciously known that,
Cool.
but it is. It's a giant hit piece against me, and it always will be.
A hit piece against me. You admitted you lied for 5 hours to them. You weren't going to be truthful to them. When they asked you for proof of WWE champions, you said, I was never going to send it, even though the window was open and I was going to send it, but you didn't check your email, which makes no sense at all. But now you're saying it's a hit piece, even though you're saying they were fair and balanced towards you. Make that make sense, Phil.
Phil, you did it to yourself, man. You
Thank
had an
you.
opportunity with all this. If it's a hit piece, it's your words. Your words. that
I
you
was
said-
going to send you everything you
had a
asked
chance to
for.
talk-
Phil, you said earlier I had no intention to ever send it. And also, I like to point out this is what Phil does every single time anyone says it about him, especially detractors, duty, snort, memology. It's out of context, dude. It's slander. Phil, it's your words, and sometimes it's a whole segment, not even cut up. How it can be slander and out of context if it's your words that you're speaking?
talk. You had a chance to talk.
Okay,
and
go
have
ahead.
a
Go
yell.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. You said with your own words, you thought it was a very fair interview, right? If
Yes.
people look back on that interview,
Yeah, it was a fair interview, but it was a hit job, dude.
right? And they are upset
Or sorry, it was a hit piece.
about the interview, it's because of the response that you gave. Nobody's going back and watching the monetize the hate stream, or no one's going back and watching the decompression stream. What they're watching is the DSP interview. And if they're upset about something that happened, or if they have if they think a certain way about you or me or Adam because of that stream, it's based off of the conversation that we had then, and not based around anything that happened afterwards, right? That's the main point of contact that people are watching. So look, you can try to put the noose around my neck all you want, right? And that's fine. Go ahead. If that's what makes you feel better, that's fine. But ultimately, Phil, it's your words. It was your lies that you told that led to the ultimate distrust with this stuff, Phil. And look, I'm sorry, man. Like, I hope that you can move past this. I hope that we have an opportunity to work
Here we go.
together again in the future. I do. I genuinely do. Because I do think at your core, I do think that you are a good guy who
X'd out.
just wants to play games and make positive content, right? And you know what? I think that's extremely admirable. But you can't be upset when we talk about something and somebody super chats about it, right? I'm sorry
Well, he believes that's his money. If it has anything to do with him, anyone's talking about him, that money should be in his pocket, dude.
that happened. And I'm sorry that your detractors gave us money, right? But you know what? It's going to happen again. It happened today. Somebody super chatted $2, saying, "Hey, did you hear about this?" Should I give that $1.40 back? Right? Like, I don't know how to handle that, Phil. And I'm not going to apologize for people who gave us money because they felt we either did a good job or we felt like we missed something, or did you hear about this? I'm not going to apologize for that. I told you I will gladly I will gladly give that money to a charity, right? And I'll give it to a charity in your name, right?
Great.
But if you don't want that, that's fine, and that's totally okay.
I mean, I'm speechless. You actually think that giving that money
You can tell Craig is getting more and more angry at this.
to a charity a year and a half later is going to somehow make you look good or something? Like, what are you
No,
talking
not at all.
about?
No,
man?
no, no, no. I hope that I don't. I could care less. What I care about is helping you move on because you clearly are clinging on to this, right? And like I said, I'm sorry that this happened, right? But I'm not sorry for the words that you said, right? Once again, if somebody has the feels a certain way about you, it's based off your actions, right? I'm live 2 hours a day,
Yeah, again, same guy who lied for 5 hours and said, it doesn't matter if I lied or not, it's still an answer.
5 days a week. People see me, they know me by now, right? I've been doing this for almost 20 years. So people have a pretty good idea of me and my character. And for you to attack my character, I mean this with all due respect, Phil. Go fuck yourself because you
Oh, that's one of the best parts. Let's hear that again.
attack my character. I mean this with all due respect, Phil. Go fuck yourself because you don't know. I've gone out of my
And he just laughs it off. Okay, we got to hear it again.
So people have a pretty good idea of me and my character. And for you to attack my character, I mean this with all due respect, Phil. Go fuck yourself because you don't know. I've gone out of my way, Phil, to treat you with respect via email the entire time. I've gone out of my way to treat you with respect and be courteous to you continuously. And I'm sorry that you're upset that I didn't check my email for 23 hours. I'm sorry for that. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, here. Oh, man. That's what detractors always want to say to Phil is go fuck yourself. Especially when he goes on his Karen rants and how dare you, dude? How dare you spend time with your family, with your kids, do your job? How dare you not check your emails that possibly I sent you the stuff that I said I would never send that would clear my name, even though I lied for 5 hours and said, doesn't matter if it's a lie, it's still an answer.
Sorry that I was pissed that you were talking shit about me, right?
Remember, I said that's the second best part of this video. It's coming up at the end.
But I hope we can move past this. I really do. And I hope that this helps you turn the page. Will it do it? Probably not. But one thing that I do really hope is I hope that people
Now, if you notice right here, he's reaching for something. If you notice, he's looking at another monitor. So watch him as he leans over because right now, he's looking at the chat. He's going to lean over and look at his PC monitor, which is across the room. There's a very good reason for this.
not. But one thing that I do really hope is I hope that people don't send you super chats in regards to me. But no, I hope people
So you notice he's got this screen right here.
send you lots of money in regards to me. I hope I'll be the first one
So he's getting ready to do something.
talking about myself. And I'll send you a super chat momentarily here in just a few minutes.
I don't want you to send me any super chat. Great.
But I want to.
Well, I can't.
You're about to see the biggest bitch move from DSP.
Right.
I can't stop you if you really have to do it. I mean, go. I can't stop you from doing it. I don't want any money from you. I don't want anything from you. Really, at this point, like you literally in a situation here where we were being completely cordial, you just told me to go fuck myself publicly on the stream. You realize that, right?
Why?
I didn't.
Why,
I
Phil?
didn't do it. You did.
Why? Because you attacked my
No,
character.
not why. You did it. We were being cordial. I just had
He should reach for a rope.
an entire show with
Whoa, buddy.
Keem last week,
Mhm.
and I have way more gripes with Keem than I have with you,
Phil,
and that never
Phil,
happened.
Did you attack Keem's character?
Oh yeah, of course I did.
Not during the interview.
And he went back at me, and we went back and forth, and we hashed it out. Yeah.
Listen, then Keem should have told you to go fuck yourself.
I would have loved that. If he was like being all nice to DSP during like the first part of the interview, like Keemstar. And Keemstar's like, yes, yes, yes. And then they're about to end the interview, and Keemstar's just like, fuck you, Phil, and just leaves.
All right, so there you go.
DSP, you haven't been cordial the entire stream, that is right.
And
There,
then-
folks, there you have it. There you have it. Night and day. I mean, you can't. That's all. I mean, really, honestly. But we got actually we're
Yeah, Keem, you are someone who...
over. I'm sorry. I have to. I'll apologize for two things. I'll apologize, number one, that I did lie to you during the interview.
which
that
ultimately
was
led
wrong.
to everything we're talking about.
That was wrong. And number two, I apologize to the public that I lied for so many years, but I already did that last night on my own show. So they already know about that. All right. And I'll apologize to you now because we're taking too much of your time and I know you got to get going.
So you notice this look right here. So remember when he looked over and he showed his like a screen for a second there at the bottom?
They already know about that.
He's gonna look over
All
again.
right. And I'll apologize to you now.
So he's looking over here, making sure his mouse is hovered around the end call button
Because we're
on Discord.
taking too much of your time and I know you got to get going. All right.
So let
But
me close with this.
You close and then I'll close and we'll be good.
Okay.
You close first.
I want you to really think about your actions here, right?
Looking over at chat, making sure everyone's agreeing with him.
Think about this logically. Please do. Why were we pissed the next day? Why? I'm asking you. Why were we pissed?
Oh, you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like you wanted me to come clean on your show and get a really great piece of content out of it because it was going to be the definitive.
Of course, the hit job, remember guys? Before it was fair and balanced. Now it's a hit job where they wanted to get a gotcha moment and they wanted a big piece on their podcast.
Time when DSP admits to everything that everyone's been saying that he's been doing for so long. And when I didn't do that, you basically had a nothing burger of an interview, 5 hours of a nothing burger of an interview. But it was good for my detractors. They wanted to crap on me, so it was a good piece for them, but you didn't have anything for anyone else. So it didn't give you what you were looking for in the product. That was the problem. You were really hoping you were going to get the...
Yeah, he said he wanted that podcast to be the definitive place to go for answers, even though he lied for 5 hours straight.
Big confession. That's why you kept putting me on the spot about send me the screenshot, when we had never discussed that before the interview. You didn't get it. You got upset about it. And that's why you didn't check your email, because you couldn't get the moment anymore in the interview. You thought you had wasted 5 hours of your time. And what you said was, well, now I'm going to get him back for that tomorrow. I'll make that money in this nice destruction show that we'll do on Friday. That's actually what happened.
You're wrong about all that.
Okay,
right?
fair enough. But you asked me for my opinion.
He just went through this list of how he did this master plan to monetize him and do a hit job. And then Craig's like, well, you're wrong about that. And then DSP instantly folds like a bitch. He's like, well, you're right about that.
Actually, what happened?
You're wrong about all that.
Okay,
right?
fair enough. But you asked me
Fair enough. See, he instantly folded on his whole point there.
for my opinion, so there you go.
Sure. And that also tells me where your head's at. We were mad because
Look at, he's looking at the other monitor now.
we were lied to. Had you not lied, none of this would have happened. If you were just clear and honest with us, like you
Looking at the monitor again. So the monitor that he's looking at is the one that controls Discord. So remember, his mouse is hovering over the end call button. And Micro Penis Burnell here is going to have some choice words for Stuttering Craig in the most bitch-made way.
you've been with like you were yesterday, everything, none of this would have happened.
See, he's hovering now.
We could have moved on. It would have been like, yeah, did we think it was full of shit? That's fine. And would the Friday stream have happened the way it did? Probably not, right? Would the monetize the hater stream have happened? Probably not. Because if you just were honest from the start, none of this would have happened. So you can point the finger at me all day long. But at the end of the day, Phil, what's the old saying? You still got 3 more pointing back, right? Back at you. So look, I'll take my responsibility. I hope you look within yourself and you take some responsibility in this as well, right? And that's fine. I do hope that we can eventually work together in the future in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you come on Side Scrollers and we do a regular show if you don't want to deal with a politics-driven show.
His new chair will be vibrating like crazy. Oh, there he is, looking at Discord again. If you notice, when this screen comes up, it means his mouse is hovering around the end call. So he's waiting for an opportunity to end this. But how is DSP going to end this interview, this amazing, great interview?
Show that isn't whatever you said, right?
Right.
You were extremely nice with your words, and by nice I'm being sarcastic right now, and you told us to go fuck ourselves and all that stuff. So I would like to give you a fair shake someday on Side Scrollers if you're open to it. Like I said, I want to make sure that you and everybody
Here we go.
else knows that I am open to working with you in some way, shape, or form. But I hope more than anything, I hope you're honest. not just with your audience, but with yourself about the situation. I appreciate your time today.
There he is, looking over again. He's getting ready. He's going to get the ultimate ender to Craig. He's going to get one up. He's going to get a gotcha moment, dude.
Phil, I got some dad duties I got to get done. Thank you guys very much for your time.
All right.
And,
Now hold on. Before you go, let me say my piece too.
There we
All right?
go.
So it'll be quick. I promise.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the end. There's no more feud between you and me. Do you agree? That's it. We're done. We can stop going at each other's throats.
Phil, I haven't had a feud with you for 18 months, man.
It's one-sided, Phil. He doesn't care about you.
That's fine. Okay, whatever you say, monetize the haters, but you don't have a feud with me. You want me to play Street Fighter with you. You don't have a feud with me. You want me back as a guest on your anniversary show because you know it's going to bring you hype and attention from my detractors, but you don't have a feud with me. Okay? But okay, fair enough. You don't have a feud, but we're agreeing to this now. It's over, right? We're done.
Yeah,
We're good.
It's over. Yeah.
Okay. So, and you were asking me now, a year and a half later, will I be a guest on your show, which was what originally was agreed to, correct? Like, that's what you're saying. It was originally, that was the agreement. We were going to do the interview. And then after that, I was going to have the opportunity to be a regular guest on your show like everyone else had been, correct?
Right.
That was the agreement.
And after the interview, I sent you that email saying, like, we were just disappointed, right? And the offer wasn't there anymore after the interview because we felt lied to.
Okay. So
But
now,
with that said, I hope we can move past it.
that's what I'm saying. Now that we've hashed it all out, right?
Here we go. The king of hate returns here.
We're all good. You're saying you're extending that olive branch and you're saying that that opportunity is there again, possibly. Not a lock-in, but it's possible that I could be on your show.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not interested. Go fuck yourself.
I want to point out he did the exact same thing Craig did to him, saying to go fuck himself. But if you notice here, watch when he does it.
Possible that I could be on your show.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not interested. Go fuck.
So he told him to go fuck himself after he ended the call. So he wasn't even a man enough to say it to his face. He was a little pussy that ended the call, then told him to go fuck himself. That is definitely DSP bitch mode right there.
Fuck yourself. Okay. All right, guys. So that is the appearance of Stuttering Craig on the Level 1 podcast. I hope that you all enjoyed it very, very much. It was a good one, right? I hope that
It's amazing how he can do this and like the 666 podcast straight to fucking hell and not be embarrassed. Like he thinks this makes him look good. And of course, this was the height of the Kino Casino high. It's a fifth grader tactic, yeah. This was him over and over and over sniffing his own farts. And him thinking he's so great. But of course, we would know what happens the next year. It would be the King Snake podcast. And guys, I hope you had fun with this, the very first episode of DSP Revisited. If you're watching this on demand, if you have any suggestions for a future episode, put them in the comments. I would love to watch, the 6-6 podcast straight to fucking hell, the Steve Cambion interview, maybe the chicken sandwich rant, or shopping bags being stolen rant, or any of this stuff. If you have a moment you want to nominate, put it in the comments below. Bill definitely has Arrested Development. Yes, that is true. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so, hope you guys had fun. I believe the next time I'm going to see you is on Thursday. So Thursday, we're going to do another episode of DSP Weekend Review at, I believe, 10 a.m. So last week, I did the very first ever live version of DSP Weekend Review. It went really well. So we're going to do it live again on Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. YouTube, Kick, and Twitch as well. Cambion was the greatest one. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that in a future episode. I would recommend the Kiwi Farms interview. Oh, we can definitely put that on the list too. So guys, I hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. I love each and every one of you. And I'll see you next time. Peace and love.
Another begging stream, another fabrication fills on the road. The lights are dim, the walls are closing in. truth, I try to be a pillar.